25,000 fans will don the red uniform to cheer for their Nebraska Cornhuskers as they host the Rams of Colorado State from the Western Athletic Conference. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Armstrong. I'm happy to have you along for another year of Big 8 football on Prime Network. And many feel like this will be the closest race in league history. Colorado set to go for their third title in a row with a healthy Darian Hagan. A lot of folks are picking the Sooners of Oklahoma. And here in Lincoln, Nebraska, a lot of folks are pinning a lot of hopes on a very high-powered offense for the Cornhuskers. I'm happy to have alongside Dave Lapham, a former NFL lineman. And Dave, as you look at Nebraska last year, 9-3, and at many places they throw a parade for you and give you a key to the city. But here in Lincoln, a lot of disappointment. A lot of folks are trying to show Tom Osborne the door after that kind of a year, and that's really kind of an unusual situation, and a situation that really centers around the quarterback.
That's very true. A little bit of uncertainty there at the quarterback position. Mickey Joseph, today anyway, has lost his starting assignment, and we've got a case where he didn't throw the ball very effectively last week whatsoever. He was 1 for 7. McCann comes in, gets his first start. Last week threw for six completions and 10 attempts for over 100 yards, threw a touchdown pass, ran the ball for over 80 yards. And the thing the coaches liked that he did the best is he got the team out of a bad play situation, put them in a good play by audibilization at the line of scrimmage. So as a senior, very familiar with the offense.
Tremendous running backs here at Nebraska. The question mark is, can they throw the ball? And also a big question mark on defense. We had a chance to talk with Tom Osborne, the head coach of the Cornhuskers, about his defense and about the keys to the game today.
Okay, well, I think as far as some things that we want to do well against Colorado State, number one, we'd hope to not give up the big play on defense. We played well against the run last week. We played pretty good pass defense, but we did give up 3 or 4 long balls, which we certainly don't want to give up throughout the rest of the season. We'd like to reverse the turnover ratio. We had 3 turnovers ourselves, and we only got 2. So we think that anytime you go minus turnovers, you got a dangerous situation. And I think we just like to improve overall execution. We, at times, didn't get lined up correctly on defense. We made a few mental errors on offense, and that's natural for a first game. But we just hope we can see some improvement from the first game to the second game.
Well, that says volumes about Nebraska, doesn't it? They want to improve execution despite 44 first downs.
It's amazing. They mashed Utah State. 617 yards rushing is incredible. But the fans are worried about when they play Washington next week, down the road when they play Oklahoma's defense, Colorado's defense. Can't be one-dimensional like that. You're not going to knock them off the football quite as easily. So they'd like to see that diversified offensive attack and throw the football a little bit more, and that's what Coach Osborne is feeling all the heat about.
A lot of great coaching matchups in this game because you've got Osborne from Nebraska and Earl Bruce, the guy from Ohio State, now coaching the Rams of Colorado State in his 3rd year. And Bruce said if we had to do this over again, we wouldn't schedule this game here in Lincoln. But they've got to play it. And here's what Coach Bruce says about trying to beat Nebraska.
Well, the keys to the game for Colorado State are stopping the options, stopping the isolation, and stopping the rollout passing. That's very prime. And the next probably is controlling the ball and moving the ball down the field and getting some points.
A man of few words, a man in the mold of Woody Hayes. And we'll see who controls the ball the best here today. The Nebraska Cornhuskers getting set to do battle with the Rams of Colorado State. And we'll have the opening kickoff next. The temperature a perfect 78. The forecast is for chance of rain later on today, and let's hope that stays off. The winds coming out of the west at 15. The head coach of the Rams of Colorado State, Earl Bruce, in his 3rd year, 15-10. And 1 overall at Colorado State, and he took them to a Freedom Bowl victory over Oregon last year in just his 2nd year. Tom Osborne, the head coach of the Cornhuskers, now in his 19th year, the winningest active Division I coach in the NCAA. The officials for today's game, Jack Baker, the referee. The umpire is Ron Johnson. Ron Demarie is the linesman. The line judge is Gerald Wright. Glenn Layden is the field judge. Clark, the side judge. And Joe Ornelas is the back judge for today's game. And set to kick off for the Rams is Mike Brown. Corey Dixon has it at the 5. Muscles his way up to the 25, and that's where the Cornhusker offense will go on the attack. And getting his first start for Nebraska, the senior, Keithan McCann. The senior out of Grand Prairie, Texas, McCann played well in relief of Mickey Joseph last week against Utah State, so he gets his first start here today. Keithan McCann, a forgotten man in the Cornhusker backfield for so many years. In fact, many thought he was just a sophomore, Dave, but here he is in his senior campaign getting his first start for Nebraska.
And I think this is a good game for him to get his first start. We've got an injured player from Colorado State down at about the 30-yard line that they're attending to right now medically, but this is a good game for McCann. It's not a Big 8 contest to start off with right away. Keith Schaefer, backup tight end, is the man down at this point that's being attended to, and hopefully he won't be done for the afternoon for Colorado State.
Let's check out offensively how Nebraska will stack up. And in the backfield is Derek Brown taking the place of Scott Baldwin. Brown came in relief last week, and all he did was rush for 175 yards. They are deep at the I-back position, are the Cornhuskers. And up front, a big front line averaging almost 300 pounds. Chris Zizda getting his first start in the place of Dave Jensen, but also look for Will Shields at the right guard position. He is an all Big 8 player from a year ago. And there's a look at number 80, Keith Schaefer, for the Rams, being carried off the field, and let's hope he's okay. We'll get a report for you.
Looks like a knee or an ankle will keep you posted.
McCann brings him up. 1st and 10 from the 25 of the Huskers. They give to Soto. He's wide open. Soto breaks a tackle at the 50, fumbles the ball, but they say he's down at the 39. Wow, what a start for the Huskers.
Well, no big surprise here, Dave. The Huskers went to that power eye set and just busted the ball right behind their best offensive lineman, Will Shields. He gets a tremendous block, and no fancy footwork here, just a nice cutback by Soto. Nobody in sight for the Colorado State Rams. Very, very disappointing. They knew that Nebraska would come out and pound the ball, and that's exactly what they did.
36 yards on the first play. Soto averaging over 12 yards per carry. He'll improve on that average. Derek Brown goes around the left side, and Brown picks up about 4 or 5 yards on first down. Defensively for the Rams of Colorado State, Paul Gasser is at one of the defensive end positions. Also look for Kevin Lynch to come from the other side. As far as the linebackers are concerned, they're young but they're good. Otis Hamilton averaging over 12 tackles a game. And in the secondary, Selwyn Jones, a good cover guy. The guy that really will hit you and stick you is Harlan Carroll, though, from his free safety position. McCann on the option, keeps it himself for a first down to the 25 before Otis Hamilton could bring him down.
Well, it optioned to the wide side of the field. The Huskers started on the right hash mark and optioned all the way to the wide side of the field. Really, any one of the options was available. The dive man, and then McCann, of course, keeps the ball for positive yardage, but he had the opportunity to pitch also. Brown was right there for him in good position, good relationship to his quarterback.
Now you see what they did last week, 44 first downs, a new record. And to put that in perspective, Colorado State had 48 in their 2 games. Into the end zone, touchdown, Johnny Mitchell. Wow. Last year, Dave, Mitchell with 7 touchdown catches in 11 receptions overall. That is 3rd reception this year and his 2nd touchdown.
It's a case here. All they do was go to that power eye formation. Colorado State says, well, they're going to run the ball again out of that power eye. Now a little play action pass to the 260-pound tight end who's got great hands.
Byron Bennett in for the point after. It's good. He's 5 of 6 this year. And the Huskers get on the board in a hurry with 13:39 to go in the first quarter. It's Nebraska 7, and the Rams of Colorado State are not on the board yet. To put his arms all around that starting quarterback position for the Huskers.
Watch this little play action fake. The top left of your screen, the linebacker, Kareem Ingram, number 98. His first step is up toward the line of scrimmage. Now he's in trouble. Mitchell's already slipped behind him for a big touchdown. Respecting the run, his first 2 steps were toward the line of scrimmage to slam that running game, because Soto took the first play of the game from that same formation for 39 yards on the ground. So they've got him between a rock and a hard place.
You saw Tom Osborne diagramming some plays. Boy, whatever they diagrammed really worked. 4 plays, 75 yards for the Huskers, and they score in under a minute and a half. Chauncey Sims has it at the 2. He'll get past the 20 to the 23, and that's where the Rams will go on offense. Now, Colorado State can score some points as well. Kevin Verdugo in his senior campaign out of Pittsburgh, Kansas. And he's no stranger to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. As a freshman quarterback for the Kansas Jayhawks, Verdugo saw KU go down 54-2, and he's hoping his return visit here to Lincoln goes a lot better. Verdugo, a starter much of last year and getting the start in the first 2 games for the Rams this year. And the give is to Copeland. He was all WAC conference last year, and Copeland gets hit hard by Tyrone Bird coming up from his free safety position.
Key block right here is by the fullback, John Ivelo. Nice block.
Let's take a look at Colorado, how they stack up offensively. Rams come with Brian Copeland, who you just saw. He's a tremendous tailback for Colorado State. And up front, a smallish offensive line, certainly a lot smaller than Nebraska's. Adam Whitmer is a senior now out of North Glen, Colorado, and a good one. The pitch back to Copeland. He's got some room on the right side, breaks a tackle, and fumbles the football. Nebraska has it. Tyrone Leggett fell on the fumble. And Nebraska will have the football in Colorado State territory at the 37.
Nice lead block once again by the fullback, John Ivelo. Got Copeland started upfield, but the ball is just stripped right out of his hands. Actually, the initial contact was made by Tyrone Bird. Once he reached in there, number 8 in the red jersey, once he reached in there and stripped across the ball, Copeland just lost control of it. Number 1 turnover for Colorado State, and they felt to win, compete against Nebraska, they had to play takeaway, not giveaway football.
And you know that Earl Bruce is steaming on that sideline for the Rams. If he's anything at all like Woody Hayes, that's one thing you can't do is fumble the football. There goes Brown outside. He's held up at the 30-yard line by Selwyn Jones. And Tom Osborne on the other side talked to us in the pregame about trying to change that turnover ratio, Dave.
That's right. They were -1 last week, and he wanted to get on the positive side of things and off to a good start on that particular sequence of plays. Boy, Brown, what a game Brown had last week in the opener.
Yeah, I should say, coming in relief of Scott Baldwin. There you see the series record. Probably a little unfair to talk too much about this series since the last game was played back in 1931. Otis Hamilton makes a good play there along with Kareem Ingram. Ingram, just a redshirt freshman. And the coaches from Nebraska really like number 98 of the Rams.
Well, he's averaging 10.5 tackles a game, and he's a definite keeper at the linebacker position. Very mobile. He played for a state championship team, St. Ignatius, in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and a quality football player.
3rd down and 2 yards to go. The pitch back to Brown. He won't make it. Stood up on the line of scrimmage by Mike Pagel, an outstanding play for the senior out of Yuma, Colorado. So now it's 4th down, and the fans here at Memorial Stadium want to go for it.
Colorado State did something on that last play that they're going to have to do. They blitz both their inside linebackers. You can't just line up in their base defense and line up against Nebraska and say, here we are, come knock us off the ball. They're going to have to give them different looks, stunt, slash, blitz a little bit, and that's what they did in that 3rd down play.
Now it's 4th and 3, and Osborne has heard the cries from the crowd, and he's going for it. McCann, good decision by the senior quarterback, and McCann keeps it down to the 22 and keeps the drive alive. A 1st down before Bob Stratman could stop him. And Osborne, the offensive coordinator, along with his head coaching duties, will signal in the next play.
And the defense did the exact same thing on this down. Watch everybody blitzing, filling holes. A good call right here is to run the option, because once McCann breaks the initial line of scrimmage, no linebackers in pursuit. They've all blitzed upfield, and so he's got positive yardage once he breaks the line of scrimmage, just like he did there. High risk, high chance defense.
McCann, good reversal. Open for a moment was Mitchell. But coming in is Chauncey Sims to knock it away on a good defensive play, although the crowd here thinks it was interference.
Yeah, Mitchell, I think, has a legitimate complaint here. I thought that he was collision before the ball got there. You can play the football, but you can't play it through the receiver. And as we take a look right here, McCann sets. Mitchell's got position. Boy, I guess it's a questionable deal right there. Either perfect timing, or else Mitchell has a legitimate complaint. Replay from behind is a tough angle.
2nd and 10. That's the second pass from McCann. He's 1 of 2. Brown, nothing doing on the right side. Maybe a gain of a yard, but that's all. Kareem Ingram with yet another stop for the Rams. And alongside there as well, Steve Norton, the defensive tackle.
Watch top left of the screen, Robert Stratman, the strong safety, number 19 in the white jersey. You see him coming across the line of scrimmage. A strong safety blitz on first down. Second down, a strong safety blitz. Once again, high-risk defense by Colorado State. They have to take some chances to limit Nebraska's productivity on first and second down. They can't give up 6-7 yards on first down and be able to compete.
McCann brings him up to the line on 3rd and a long 9. The single back is Brown, and McCann signals for a timeout. He sees something in the Rams defense that he does not like and wants to talk it over with Tom Osborne. So a timeout is taken by Nebraska, and we'll step aside as well. With 9:47 left to go in the first quarter, Nebraska leads 7-0. The heat is really on this guy, Chuck Heater, the defensive coordinator for the Rams.
He's going to have to go to that high-risk defense. He saw the first drive. Nebraska just mauled them, so now he's taking some chances.
3rd and 9. Completed to Mitchell, but it won't be enough for the first down. Good defensive play by Harlan Carroll to stop him at the 19, and that brings up 4th and long in the field goal unit coming out.
All they did was rush 4, a little twist inside. You see the defensive tackles do a little bit of a twist in the white jerseys, trying to penetrate gaps. Picked up effectively by that huge Nebraska offensive line, but good coverage downfield. McCann had to throw underneath to his tight end Mitchell, short of the first down by a wide margin.
Byron Bennett on for a field goal attempt. He's 2 of 2 this year with a long of 37. This one from 36. And it's good. And the Huskers, after the fumble by Brian Copeland, tack 3 more on the board. And with 9:02 to go in the first quarter and a light drizzle falling here in Lincoln, the Cornhuskers have extended their lead over the Colorado State Rams to 10-0. Earl Bruce, head coach of the Rams of Colorado State, and you got to feel like, Dave, that last year was almost like vindication for him after what happened to Earl Bruce at Ohio State, to come on last year and win that Freedom Bowl in a thriller over Oregon, 32-31. That had to give him a lot of pleasure.
Oh, it sure did, and he loves it at Colorado State. It's a case where the guy, one thing that he is a player's coach. He relates so well to his players. The players absolutely love Coach Earl Bruce. They have every place that he's been. He's approaching this game. He told his team, look, nobody in the country is giving you a chance against Nebraska, trying to motivate his team that way. He said, I think we can compete. Let's go out and show that we're a capable football team, and his players really rally around him.
Billy Gonzalez to the left of your picture, and Chauncey Sims on the right side are back deep for the Rams. And to kick it off for Nebraska is Byron Bennett. Nebraska with a 10-0 lead, and we've only played about 6 minutes of this contest.
Nebraska didn't punt once last week, and they haven't punted today. They converted their 4th down, and then the other 4th down kicked the field goal.
This one comes to Sims at the 8. Finds a little bit of a hole and gets it across the 25 to the 27-yard line, and Cedric Collins, the freshman, brought him down there. And a penalty flag is thrown.
I think we're going to have an unsportsmanlike conduct or a personal foul. It was very late, thrown from the line judge, so I don't know who he's called. I think it's somebody from Colorado State that he called on. He's going to take him back and give him not such good field position here. That's the kind of thing that Coach Bruce is going to be very upset about. They've turned the ball over with a fumble. Now they're starting to lose their poise and make the mistakes, silly penalties that cost you field position.
Dead ball, personal foul on the receiving team.
Well, that pushes you way back to the 14-yard line. Earl Bruce is beside himself right now. Things have not gone well for the Rams so far in this contest against the Huskers.
One thing you'd like to do if you're Colorado State by special teams and turnovers, you'd like to lengthen Nebraska's drives and shorten your own. So far, Colorado State has been exactly the reverse.
Half the distance to the goal, but it brings up 1st and 24. And Verdugo must throw, has good protection, goes across the middle to his tight end Mark Smith, who drops the ball. pass was a little bit low. Smith thinking, well, I should have caught that one.
That's right. I think Smith would tell you, boy, if that's thrown to me 10 times, I'm going to catch it 9. Unfortunately, that was the one where his concentration just wasn't there. And right now, Colorado State really has to shake itself. Their confidence, I think, is a little bit shaken. The unsportsmanlike or personal foul late shows that they've lost their poise a little bit. They're going to have to start pounding the football here some and get their feet back on the ground in this football game.
2nd and 24 from the 14. On the draw play. That's Leonis Brown, who doesn't get much. Maybe a yard. It's going to bring out 3rd and 23.
I know one thing that the coaching staff for the Rams felt was very necessary today would be to play well early. The longer you play competitively with Nebraska, the more your confidence would build, and Nebraska may get frustrated. So far, Nebraska's confidence is sky high, and the frustration level is on the Rams side of the ball.
Somebody might have jumped for Nebraska. The flag is flying, so a free play for the Rams. And Verdugo, as time running out on him, scampers for his life and picks up 1, but we'll see what the flag is about. It looked like John Perella might have jumped early.
I think it was Kevin Ramakers, but it was one of those big down linemen. They get into the neutral zone prior to the snap.
Offside on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
So it's 3rd down all over again, but now 3rd and 18, and that personal foul penalty against the Rams really put him behind the 8 ball here.
Boy, it sure did. That's a case where, as a defensive lineman, one thing you do not do is listen to the quarterback's voice. He'll get you with the staggered snap count, the voice inflection, the non-rhythmic. Instead of hut, 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 he'll give hut, 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 and try to make you jump, and that's exactly what happened on that snap.
Verdugo with time again. And almost picked off. It looked like Tyrone Bird had it in his hands. Pass going down the middle, and Mark Holmes batted it away.
Mark Holmes made a nice recovery, a nice play to this football. The problem that Bird had was he didn't break back to the ball. He waited for the ball to get to him, and Holmes cut in front of him to at least make it an incompletion rather than an interception. If Bird had gone back to the football, like in any sport, you don't wait for the ball to get to you. You go back and get it. If Bird had done that, he would have had a pick.
So number 1, Corey Dixon for the Cornhuskers, back deep to await the punt of Alan Glazer. He gets it at his own 38-yard line. Breaks 1 tackle and gets it up to the 43. So the Cornhuskers will take over again from their own 43-yard line with 7:37 to go in the first quarter. Nebraska already with a 10-0 lead on the Rams from the WAC Conference. Here in Lincoln.
Boy, it really is just an unbelievable display of fan support here.
I'd like to have the concession on whoever's selling red. Whoever's selling red will do well. There's Keith Schaefer. He was shaken up on the first play of the game, the opening kickoff, and shaken up again there on special teams. Now Nebraska will get going again from their own 44. McCant ripped down from behind. A good play defensively by Mike Pagel.
Here's the problem that Colorado State's facing. Look at the differential, the defensive lineman as opposed to the offensive lineman from Nebraska. 60 pounds in that range, a 60 pounds differential. That's tough to compete against. And what they're doing, instead of lining up against those big, massive John Deere earth movers that Nebraska has playing in the offensive line, they're hitting gaps, they're stunting. They're not going to hit them right down the middle of their bodies and try to play both sides, both gaps of those offensive linemen. They're going to slant and move.
McCant to throw, a little bit low and incomplete. The pass was intended for Vincent Hawkins, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 1. All right, you were a big offensive lineman. When you played another team, did you prefer them to be as big as you, or did you like to play smaller, quicker guys?
Well, unfortunately, at the professional level, they were as big as you and they were quicker. So it was a tough deal. You know, you play against a guy like Joe Green, who's every bit as big, 285, but had the quickness of a guy about 230. But if I had a preference, I'd like him as big and just try to bull around with you, play smash mouth football.
McCant given time, almost loses the football, squirms out of it, and has room to run. A first down and knocked out of bounds by number 35 for the Rams of Colorado State. That's Tyler Zahn, who knocks him out of bounds and might have saved a touchdown at the 34.
Watch the athletic play that McCann makes on Gasser, number 86, the defensive end in white. Watch, McCann almost loses the ball. Look, 86 comes to McCann. Oh, slips right under his armpit. Just lowers his head, slips under his armpit, and he's off to the races. That is just an improvisational play, spontaneity, a good athlete.
23 yards on that play from McCann. He now has 40 in the game. And here comes Soto. Touchdown, Nebraska!
Boy, Soto is ripping off chunks of yardage. He had the first carry of the game for 39. That one went for about 30. He had a 62-yarder last week that wasn't for touch. All this is smash mouth football, though. Everybody just mashes the pile. Soto pops through there. Nobody lays a hand on him. The only person who touched him was one of his own offensive linemen trying to get to the next level to block a linebacker.
That's the hardest hit he took.
That's just the Red Sea parted there for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Jim Scott, his own center, gave him the hardest hit.
Right.
And the point after is good. And it's all Nebraska so far. Soto now with just 3 rushes for 71 yards.
Boy, that'll work, that kind of average out of your fullback. And once again, nothing fancy. I mean, it's just, it's a straight dive to the fullback. You've created a little bit of a pressure point, and he just takes it right to the end zone. Here it is once again. Just a mash of bodies. That's where that 60-pound per man advantage is a huge advantage to you. Because when 2 guys lock up and they become in a pushing contest, 60 pounds is almost impossible to overcome. The thing that Colorado State can't do is they can't separate Dave. They're being blocked, and as a defensive player, you like to separate from the blocks and pursue to a play. Nebraska's so much bigger, they're engulfing them, and the defensive players can't separate and lay a glove on the Nebraska running backs.
And as soon as they come off the field, more instruction from Tom Osborne. I mean, what do you diagram now? It's like everything's working, guys. Let's just keep doing this.
Right, they're saying our game plan's available to us. Let's just, whatever you pick, let's make it, let's execute it very well.
And you think back, that big play in that series was Keithan McCant getting out of trouble and picking up a first down when it looked like he was stopped.
Exactly. He was dead in the water. Paul Gasser had him contained. But McCant just ducked right underneath his arm and took off for positive yards.
Rennick kicking off again. This one goes deep. Gonzalez has it in the end zone and decides to stay there. It doesn't take long for Nebraska to score. 4 plays, 57 yards. Soto is really looking impressive for the Cornhuskers, but that's no surprise. We expected Nebraska to be able to run on the Rams.
Absolutely, and Earl Bruce, his biggest concern in conversation with him during the week was the team speed that Nebraska has. He says their fullbacks run faster than a lot of tailbacks that we see. Their quarterbacks, their tailbacks, their receivers all have 4.4 to 4.5 speed. He said we better be sure tacklers and gang tackle. That hasn't been the case.
So Verdugo tries to regroup now for the Rams, and he gives it to the fullback, Ivlo, and he picks up good yardage on first down. Steve Carmer had to come up from his strong safety position to stop the fullback, Ivlo, who picks up about 6 yards on first down up to the 26.
Well, one thing that Colorado State's doing now, trying to get to the perimeter, they motion their wide receiver, Primus in and blocked down to the next level. He took a crack back block inside on linebacker Mike Petco, trying to secure the boundaries, secure the outside so Colorado State can get to the outside.
2nd and 4. Copeland. He had a hole and it closed in a hurry. Nice play defensively by Mike Anderson of the Huskers.
Mike Anderson, who was voted by his teammates as the lifter of the year. And watch him separate. Watch the separation here once he's collision. Fullback lead block on him. He doesn't stay blocked. That's what I'm talking about, separating from blocks and pursuing to the play. That's what Colorado State can't get done. And that time Anderson did an excellent job of separating from Ivlo's block. Ivlo took it in there nice and aggressively, but he could not sustain contact on Anderson. The linebacker made a fine play.
3rd and 3. Play action. Verdugo hit hard behind the line by Pat Engelbert. Engelbert the team leader on defense for Nebraska, and what a big play that was.
Just an excellent play, and the penetration comes where a quarterback hates it the most, right up the middle, right in his face. And Engelbert breaks free from the blocking pattern and just collapses the inside of the pocket.
Now it's Tyrone Hughes back deep for Nebraska, along with Corey Dixon. Alan Glazer will punt it away. It's a short, wobbly kick that bounces near the sidelines. It takes a good Colorado State kick and goes out at the 39-yard line. But it's been all Nebraska so far, and we still have 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, with the Huskers leading 17-0. You know, the fans have gotten what they wanted to see here for Nebraska so far, Dave. They've seen an offense that is running pretty much wherever they want to run, but an offense that is also throwing the ball pretty well.
Starting to mix in that passing game a little bit, and if this game continues along these lines, it'll almost be a controlled scrimmage for Nebraska to practice their passing game, because they're running the ball so effectively.
Nate Turner, the wingback, comes in to make it a power I situation. Soto just buries into the line and maybe got a yard, but that's about it.
Well, that's the kind of effort that Colorado State needs right there. They have to take away the first option in that power attack. Take away the dive man. If the dive man, being the fullback, if he can break for 39, 34-yard touchdowns, you're in trouble. If the shortest distance between the line of scrimmage and the goalpost is a straight line, and if the fullback can do that with regularity like Soto has, then everything else is open to him. But they shut that one down pretty well.
Bostic and Turner come out wide, along with Hughes to the right. And the give is to Brown, the lone setback. And we've got a flag thrown into the mix. And he goes up to the 45-yard line. Does Brown? Let's see what the flag's about.
I think we get a holding on the tight end Mitchell, number 86. I think they're going to take it back.
If there is any kind of a glitch as far as Johnny Mitchell is concerned, it's his blocking.
I think they caught him out. He's exposed out there. There's no other offensive lineman around him. He's on the island. And Mitchell locking up in the linebacker. They're going to call him for a takedown, and they're going to move that back 10 yards.
On the offense, repeat second down.
They're kinder in college ball. They don't say who the holding was on. You like that as an offensive lineman, right?
That's great. I mean, because the only publicity you get on television in the NFL or in radio or whatever the case may be is when you make a mistake in the NFL.
Second now and 19 back at the 30. McCant with some play action of his own. Now feeling pressure, gets out of it. Soto wide open along the middle. Gets up to the 41-yard line. Kareem Ingram and Brian Schneider on coverage for the Rams.
Once again, it's just McCant is too athletic for Gasser, the defensive end. Watch, he'll break away from his blocking and come in, and he's got McCant in his sights, but McCant, one quick move, and he just avoids the rush of Gasser. McCant can move, change directions on a dime. For Gasser, it's like an 18-wheeler trying to change directions on a dime. For McCant, it's more like a Volkswagen.
McCant 3 of 5, as you see, and that first pass, a 25-yard touchdown to Johnny Mitchell. On 3rd and 9. Wide open is Bostic. He has a first down across midfield to the 45.
Now there's extreme pressure on the Colorado State secondary because the running game's going so well. The linebackers have to respect that running game. They're not getting real deep drops, and McCant's starting to find seams between the linebackers and the secondary, because when you run the ball that well, it puts the linebackers in a big-time sweat.
1st and 10 from the 44. The pitch back to Brown. Picks up about 3 or 4 on first down under the 40-yard line. Brown has now carried the ball 5 times for only 16 yards.
Last week, of course, as you mentioned, came in, didn't start the ball game, but had a career high 175 yards rushing, and that puts him, I think, number 5 in the NCAA after the first week in yards gained rushing. So he had a heck of an opener. There
were 3 guys from the Big 8 who had great openers. Eric Gallant from Kansas State with 184. Of course, Brown and Tony Sands at 174 for KU. Stutter step, and now he's open. He had one man to beat, and that was Harlan Carroll. still picked up good yardage.
Watch the block by Will Shields, number 75 from Nebraska. This play is designed to go off tackle left, but cuts back, Brown cuts back. Look at number 75, just pancaked this man. You saw the left side of the screen. Will Shields, all conference, first team as a sophomore. First lineman since Dave Remington at Nebraska to be first team all conference as a sophomore. Pancake, by what I mean by that, Dave, knocked his man off his feet on the ground, laying on top of him, decleated him, pancaked him.
That's the best feeling there is, right?
That's total victory as an O-lineman.
A timeout taken on the field. We're going to stay here with 1:34 to go in the first quarter. Nebraska driving again into the wind and a slight drizzle. Nothing like what they experienced last week here in Lincoln, where they had a 19-minute delay due to a lightning storm. There you see averages for these teams. Colorado State has played 2 games. They're 1-1, and Nebraska with that impressive win over Utah State. Impressive in a way, but in some ways, Nebraska somewhat disappointed in the yards they gave up through the air to Utah State.
Right, they gave up the most yards in a regular season contest. They've given up more yards in bowl games, but that was the most yards they gave up last week in a regular season game. They allowed 373 yards and 16 first downs passing, and they were a little bit upset about that.
And there's what I was saying earlier about Colorado State in 2 games. In games they've scored a decent amount of points with 48 first downs. Nebraska with 44 in 1 game.
That's
unbelievable.
33 of them by rush. 33 first downs rush.
I think Colorado State scored 38 and 26 points in their 2 games, and they have 48 first downs. McCants throwing the ball well. Another one to Bostic inside the 10 down to the 8. And right now, a guy nervous over on the Nebraska sidelines is Mickey Joseph.
Well, yeah, is he ever? And just a great, what they did is they went all the way to the left hash mark and isolated the receiver on Selwyn Jones, who's the best cover man that Colorado State has to offer. But John Bostic had 2/3 of the field, 2/3 of the width of the field to work with against Selwyn Jones. You talked about being out there all by yourself on an island. Selwyn Jones felt like Gilligan out there.
And he wasn't getting off.
No, and the skipper was nowhere to be found.
It was more than a 3-hour cruise, wasn't it?
Yes.
In the end zone. Broken up. Or was it intercepted? They're saying that Mabry intercepted it.
Yes.
And he did. Mabry took that ball right away from Chris Garrett. And the few that have made their way from Fort Collins are thrilled with the developments there. What a great play by Sylvester Mabry.
I think it was an ill-advised throw because Mabry had great coverage. I mean, that's you got to look off of that receiver and go to your second and third options. When your primary receiver's covered as well, when your tight end Garrett is covered as well as he was by Mabry, you got to go to your second and third option. And he wasn't hurried. He wasn't hurried to the point where he had a brain lock.
Anthony Hill, the new quarterback now for CSU. He's a good option quarterback, and on first down he picks up 5 up to the 25 before Trev Alberts could stop him. Anthony Hill, just a freshman, a redshirt freshman from San Diego. They really like what he can do, and in the first game against Arkansas State he went 3 for 4 for 75%, 42 yards. He had 2 runs for 18 more yards. Right now, Earl Bruce saying that Anthony Hill has more raw talent than anyone he's ever coached. And remember, he coached Art Schleister.
Right, and he wanted to see if he has a backup quarterback. He was going to play Hill in the second quarter, so this is according to plan.
Hill with time to throw, wide open, and hit hard is Greg Primus. But he hangs on to the football at the 43. Curtis Cotton really gave him a lick.
Well, you can see why everybody is so excited about Primus. What great concentration on the football. Nice throw by Hill also. That's as tight a spiral as you're going to get. Primus knows he's going to get jacked, and boy, did he ever. Curtis Cotton, one of the fastest guys in the team, has a 40-inch vertical leap. Tremendous athlete. He closed in this ball just a little bit too late, but boy, did he deliver the pop.
Man, Curtis made it feel like he got hit by a whole bale of cotton. Greg Primus now with a catch in 27 straight games. And all of a sudden, Colorado State, after that interception, looks like a new team. Going right up the middle is Tom Romero and into Nebraska territory for the first time, right outside the 50.
Now they feel that they've soften Colorado State softened Nebraska up a little bit with throwing the football out in the perimeter. They think they're going to run right up the middle now and diversify that offense. They just go to the fullback dive, and Romero, very, very positive yardage. Nice job up front by the Colorado State offensive line.
That will do it for the first quarter. It's in the books with Nebraska taking a commanding 17-0 lead after the first 15 minutes of play. But Colorado State's got something going now with their new quarterback, Anthony Hill, in there. Colorado State will have the ball when we come back for the second quarter. 17-0. They're never happy in Lincoln.
Well, I guess you throw one interception and the smiles go to frowns. But, you know, we talked about the Nebraska fans here. They're rabid. And, you know, fan is a shortened word for the term fanatic. And they are here. And the plus side of it is you get all that support. The negative, or the pressure side is a national championship is expected every year.
Yeah.
And you lose a game, and the fans get pretty upset.
2nd and 3 for the Rams, just on the other side of the 50-yard line. They give us to the fullback, Ivlo, who get close to that first down marker at the 47-yard line. Trev Alberts, an outstanding sophomore, had a great freshman year for the Cornhuskers, makes the stop.
And Ivlo is a transfer to Colorado State from Northwestern. He was a linebacker there. He had been as big as 255 pounds on a 6'1" frame. Now he's down to about 225 and playing the fullback position very well. Tough, hard inside runner, good blocker, but at 6'1", 255, he was a shot put with legs back there at that linebacker spot.
This one close enough to measure. I think it's just short.
What eyes you have.
And it is. It'll bring up 3rd and less than 1.
I'll tell you what, from up here, whoever your optometrist is, I'm making an appointment with that bad boy next week.
Colorado State so far today, 0 of 2 on 3rd down.
That's
and
key.
The attention will be on Ivlo, the fullback, 3rd and short.
That's the key word right there, Dave, short. Their prior 3rd down conversions were long yardage variety. 3rd and a half a yard is a much more palatable situation here.
And this year, Colorado State 54% on 3rd down conversion. The quarterback, Hill, keeps it, and he'll have enough for the first down, just enough. Hill busts his way across the right side of the center and picks up the first down to keep the Colorado State drive alive.
Travis Hill involved in that stop, and what an athlete he is. He's probably the best talent on the defensive side of the football for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Defensive coordinator Charlie McBride, the term for a football player that he thinks is a player, he says this guy's legit, and Travis Hill is definitely legit.
Only their 2nd first down of the game, both coming on this drive. Hill, the pitch back to Copeland. He squirmed out of one tackle, but couldn't get out of the arms of Alberts, who hangs on, and Copeland squirms ahead to the 42-yard line.
You know, Dave, as we reflect back to Coach Earl Bruce's comments that we had prior to the beginning of the broadcast, he said one of the keys was control the ball, and what he meant by that is exactly what they're doing here. Control the clock, keep the Nebraska potent offensive football team on the sideline. Sometimes the best defense against an offense as good as Nebraska's is to limit their opportunities and play ball control, consume the clock offense yourself.
2nd and a long 6. Confusion, a fumble. Who's got it? Nebraska with a fumble. Recovery. The Cornhuskers, Trev Alberts comes up with it. That's the 2nd fumble for the Rams, and both times they've lost the handle.
Boy, it looked like Anthony Hill the ball looked like he hit one of his running backs. Just a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield. Fakes the dive to the fullback, and the fullback wanted to keep the ball. Hill wanted to take it out of his belly and continue with his 2nd and 3rd options, either keep the ball himself or pitch it. A little bit of a mix-up between he and his dive back. Unfortunately, it was a tragedy because they lost the football.
Boy, Alberts had a good series there. Made a couple of stops and then picks up the fumble. Trying to get outside. We've got a penalty flag thrown into the fray, probably a hold against Nebraska as Brown gets it up to midfield before Matt Rowd could stop him.
I think they're going to call it on the big offensive lineman Eric Weigert. It looked like he had a takedown there trying to get Brown to the perimeter to the outside, but it's coming back. You're right.
Weigert on the hold for Nebraska, and that'll weigh heavy on the minds of the Husker coaching staff. Those are the kind of things. What do the coaches say to you when you got caught holding?
Holding on the offense. Repeat first down.
See if we can get a good look at it. Look at, you can see he grabbed the back of his foot. What the official saw as he was losing contact, he reached out and grabbed with his arms. The defender actually went to the turf. The official felt that the impetus, the reason for the fall, was caused by the offensive lineman wrapping his arms. To answer your question, Dave, they just said, don't do that. Don't do that.
Sounds simple, right? Brown almost got loose. Otis Hamilton got a helmet on his hip and knocked him flying at the 42.
You know, every once in a while, though, sometimes the officials have a bad angle, and you can get called for holding when you really didn't. And that happened to me one time. We were playing the Buffalo Bills, and we sprung Charlie Alexander for a touchdown run that was nullified by a holding call on me, and I was actually exonerated in the film room because it showed that I didn't hold, but the guy who made the call had a tough angle on it, and he saw a hold, so sometimes you get burned.
McCann to throw, wide open is Mitchell on the flat. Mitchell across midfield, dives forward near the first down at the 46.
Boy, what a talent this guy is. 260 pounds, takes the ball on the sideline, stops on a dime, and makes the first man miss. I mean, here's a guy that has got the body of a tight end and the running ability of a fullback or a linebacker. I mean, that's just an athletic play to stop on a dime like that and make Chauncey Sims, a quick little cornerback, miss you when you have that kind of physique.
3rd and 1. And the sun starting to break through here in Lincoln. So does Derek Brown. He breaks through for a first down. Pretty tough to stop Nebraska with 300-pound linemen on 3rd and 1.
This offensive line rivals size of the offensive lines in the NFL now. You'll have many NFL offensive lines averaging between 290 and 297. Nebraska's right there at 294.
1st and 10 from the Colorado State 44. McCann wants to throw on first down. Now he's going to run for his life and pick up about 8 yards on first down. We were talking with Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator from Nebraska, yesterday, and he said when we used to play Oklahoma, we wanted their quarterbacks to throw. We hated to see them scrambling.
And it's for this type of reason right here. How'd you like to be an outside linebacker or cornerback right now? Straight drop back pass, nothing there. So McCann says, okay, now I'm going to rely on my athletic ability. Now, what do? Is he going to run? Is he going to throw? He has got the secondary and the perimeter people in a deep sweat. And finally, when they come up to commit on the running play, McCann's already got about 8 or 9 yards.
Picked up 8. It's 2nd and 2, and McCann on play action. Wide open. Wide open was Dan Pleasant. I mean, he didn't have anybody within 15 yards of him. And the ball is overthrown.
Boy, there was a brain cramp out there defensively in the coverage for Colorado State. Boy, did the Rams dodge a bullet or what? That was unbelievable. If a linebacker is locked on in this coverage, it's a tough coverage, and the linebacker's the one that reacted late trying to get into the action, but he may have just been recovering. He was 20 yards in the clear. I mean, there was just a brain cramp in the secondary right there.
3rd and 2, and McCann audibleizing at the line. The give is to Brown. He breaks a tackle at the line. He could go! Derek Brown, touchdown! Wow!
Ran right through Sylvester Mabry on that particular journey, and that's what Orr-Pierce was concerned about defensively. He missed a tackle. They end up in the end zone. Good blocking up front. Shields once again gets him started. Look at that. Runs right through the tackle of Mabry, and then it's off to the races. The corner of the end zone, and he gets there. And that was the biggest concern of the Colorado State coaching staff. Sure tackling. Can't miss tackles because they'll be in the end zone just like that.
And Dave Brown, after a slow start, now is 82 yards on 9 carries.
Wow.
Bennett with a point after. That's automatic. And it's 24-0 Nebraska. Well, they're saying, wait a minute, that extra point is not automatic. It was no good. That's the only thing that's gone wrong, though, for the Huskers so far. We're back in Lincoln, Nebraska, where the Cornhuskers have piled on 23 points on the Rams of Colorado State. Byron Bennett missed that extra point, make it 23-0. Bennett a little bit upset with himself. He's already missed 2 extra points this year. The last one, though, came in a driving rain last week against Utah State. But my prophet days are over. I called that extra point good before he kicked it. I'll not do that again. And 2 times in a row now, the ball gets knocked off the tee, and they'll bring someone in to hold it.
Absolutely. Shows that there's a stiff enough breeze at Nebraska's back in this quarter, though, so probably will see them go to that passing game and try to perfect that part of their offense a little bit more in the second quarter.
The kick goes to Gonzalez at the 15. Gonzalez breaks a couple of tackles and then takes a real lick from Tyrone Bird. As we talked about Nebraska scoring quickly, they do it again. 55 yards, 6 plays, 2 minutes, 14 seconds, and Derek Brown with the touchdown for the Cornhuskers. That's his first of the year.
And Colorado State felt that they dodged a bullet. I mean, the incompletion when the wide receiver Pleasant was wide open. Very next play, Brown deposits it in the end zone anyway.
Anthony Hill stays in at quarterback for Colorado State, and the give to Ivlo is fullback. There are a couple up the middle.
Right now, Colorado State and coaching staff has to be in a little bit of shock. And do you stay with your game plan? Do you throw that out the window and try to open it up a little bit more? You're in a tough bind there, because if you try to get too fancy and things don't work and it's 3 downs and out, all you're doing is giving Nebraska more opportunity to bury you.
A fake pitch. Down the sidelines and intercepted. Let's see if he was in bounds. Well, the officials are conferring over on the sideline, and now they're going to say he was out of bounds. Travis Hill thought he had it. Remember, in college ball, you need only 1 foot in.
Absolutely, and boy, he definitely had possession. Now, did he get at least 1 foot down before he stepped out of bounds here? Tough decision by quarterback Hill to throw it down the sideline. See 93 in the red possession.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's an interception. That is an interception.
There is no replay rule in college ball, but if there were, that would be going Nebraska's way. But instead, Colorado State keeps their drive alive on 3rd and 7 from their own 37. Travis Hill with an interception taken away. And Anthony Hill scrambling. He won't get the first down after the 41-yard line, and Mike Petco, the senior out of Anaheim, stops him there. Petco, a 3-year starter.
Travis Hill had an interception last week, and he should have had one this week too.
Well, the black shirts do their job for Nebraska. And back on to punt is Alan Glazer with Corey Dixon and Tyrone Hughes back deep for Nebraska. Gets it away, a wobbly kick, but a Colorado State bounce, and they'll finally down it at around the 19-yard line. That's where Nebraska will go on offense, and with 9:52 left to go in the first half, the Nebraska Cornhuskers lead the Rams of Colorado State 23-0. Nebraska goes on offense with a new quarterback. Mickey Joseph, a starter from a year ago, replaces Keithan McCann, who leaves 6 of 10 throwing, 1 interception and 1 touchdown pass for McCann. And Joseph comes on the offense. Joseph saying, "Don't forget about me."
Yes.
He picks up 13 on first down.
Well, Joseph obviously fully recovered from that severe laceration that he took in the Oklahoma game last year. A little 3-way option. Doesn't give it to the dive man. Now he's got a decision to make. Do I keep or to pitch? A hole about 8 yards wide. He said, "I think I'll keep it." Lowers the head. Puts a big hit on Selwyn Jones, and running like a tailback himself.
Joseph, you talked about that severe laceration. They described all the muscles and tendons and things that were ripped in that, and they said the thing that saved him was the nerve was only partially severed. The new tailback is Calvin Jones, and Jones ripping up some big yards for the Huskers. He replaces Derek Brown, who just scored the touchdown.
Once again, this play was supposed to go off right tackle. Look at the backside of the offensive line, and the tight ends make the blocks that springs it for big positive yardage. Very, very effectively done by Lundberg and the big tight end William Washington. Backside blocks are so pivotal.
12 yards on that run for Jones. 2 plays, 2 first downs for Nebraska, already up to the 45. Joseph on the keeper. He'll only get 3 before Brian Schneider stops him there.
Well, Nebraska rushed for 617 yards, 8 yards per rushing attempt last week. They'd be hard-pressed to match those numbers, you feel, coming into the game, but I'll tell you what, they are effective on the ground. That offensive line is not only big, Dave, they're fairly athletic. They change direction decently. They sustain blocks. A lot of times you get guys 300 pounds, they'll make good initial contact and then fall to their knees. These guys keep their feet and finish blocks pretty darn well.
And they make the secondary make a lot of stops.
Absolutely.
Jones runs over a guy inside Colorado State territory at the 45, and I think there's going to be a face mask call on this tacked on to the end of that. Bob Stratman was hanging on. 8:17 to go in the first half. 23-0 Nebraska. Oh, a hold call against the Cornhuskers.
Once again, just an isolation lead play. I think they're going to call maybe possibly on Shields as he got the play started. I didn't see any real flagrant holding right there.
Holding on the off. Repeat, second down.
Right at the tail end there, I might have saw Nate Turner grab a jersey.
It came late, so that probably was it. The flag was pretty late, and it was thrown from the side judge a good distance down the field, so you're probably right.
Second now and 10. The ball back on the 45 of Nebraska. Joseph calling out a new signal from the line. Joseph wants to throw, and he's going to be hit from behind. John Moran stops him behind the line. For Moran, his first quarterback sack of the year.
And really, you have to term this a coverage sack. As we see, Joseph has time to throw the ball. He's planted his feet, nowhere to go with it. And Moran finally closes the gap on his blind side and deposits Joseph to the turf.
Good play by John Moran. William Washington hobbled off for Nebraska. He comes off, and
he's either got a cramp or a hamstring problem, Dave, the way he was moving.
So Nebraska's faced now with a 3rd and 18. Cornhuskers so far today, 3 of 5 on 3rd down plays. See the time remaining, and Nebraska with a comfortable 23-0 lead. That's the time remaining in the first half. Joseph with time across the middle. He finds Johnny Mitchell, his tight end, who got just to the first down marker and a yard beyond. Mitchell's having a big day.
Let's take a look at Mitchell as he releases from the line of scrimmage. Nobody really redirects him. That's what you have to do. A 260-pound guy right down the hash mark, settles in the seam of the zone between the linebackers and secondary and cradles that football. Great hands. Thing you have to do with Mitchell, you can't let him get off the line of scrimmage without rerouting him. Nobody collisioned him and took him out of the timing of his pattern.
Mitchell having a big day. You see him nearing 60 yards already, and he has that touchdown catch to go with it. Joseph now in the option. He's going to look for Mitchell again. Touchdown, Nebraska! Wow!
This might come back. They may have a holding call.
Hold everything. And the crowd finally realizes it here at Memorial Stadium. Took him a while to see that yellow flag at midfield because they were watching the celebration in the end zone.
And boy, when you have a tight end that's a weapon like this, watch Joseph set his feet, working against, they have a cornerback, Carroll, covering Mitchell. And boy, Mitchell just beats the cornerback, and when you have a weapon like that at tight end, unfortunately, this thing's going to be nullified by a holding penalty, it looks like.
We have a personal foul, grabbing the face mask on the offense, 15-yard penalty.
No, a personal foul, not just the hold. Let's see if we can see what happened.
Well, let's take a look at the fans were excited. 2 consecutive completions, 1 for 19 yards. This for what they thought was a touchdown. Good protection. Joseph steps up in the pocket. Mitchell had beaten a cornerback downfield. That's incredible. 260-pound tight end with 4.65 speed and a great receiver. I mean, when the ball is in his area, he makes the catch. He flat out has got great hooks, can catch the ball.
And Mickey Joseph has got to be the most disappointed because Joseph's taken a lot of heat about his throwing ability, and he laid that one right on the money.
It was. You couldn't ask for a better throw. And an unusual call. An offensive lineman grabbing a face mask for a personal foul. The Nebraska offensive line. In the NFL, you can jam and extend your hands, lock your elbows out and extend your hands, and sometimes they'll get their hands up under the face mask, and they'll call it an illegal blow to the head. Well, that's obviously what happened here when they were pass protecting. The hand slipped up into the face mask area of one of the Colorado State defensive linemen, and Nebraska was flagged for it.
And that 15-yard penalty is marked off from the point of infraction, so it really becomes a 21-yard penalty, and it's 1st and 31. Joseph looking like the same play. Bostic does a tightrope dance across midfield at the 47. And now Joseph starting to look like Dan Marino.
I'll tell you, the guy who made this play, watch left guard 64's eyes to pull out and pick up a free safety blitzing, number 4, Brian Schneider. That gives the quarterback Joseph ample time to get the ball downfield for a completion. Nice play, nice heads-up play by the offensive lineman pulling out of his left guard spot to pick up a blitzing free safety.
And a good play by Bostic to keep his feet in bounds.
Little tap-tap.
Jones, big hole up the middle. And all the way down to the 31-yard line. How about that? Nebraska faced with 1st and 31, and on 2 plays they pick up a first down.
A little injury here. That's Colorado State on their defense.
Mike Pagel.
Yeah, Pagel is looks like once again a knee or an ankle injury to that right side. The way he's bending his knee, it looks like it's his right ankle.
And you know, if you're Earl Bruce, you want to get out of this game alive.
Absolutely. I mean, it's to the case now. The longer this game goes on, we talked about the 60-pound differential up front, the offensive line. As this game grinds on, they're just going to beat up and wear down Colorado State Ram defensive front 7. Nothing fancy here. It's just a straight handoff up the middle. And boy, we've got a tremendous hole. You can see where he turned his ankle back right at the line of scrimmage in the turf. Pagel, he's down paying the price for it right now. See if we can find number 61 in the white. He gets double teamed, and as he's trying to spin out of the play,
he gets flattened.
He gets crushed, pancaked as he's trying to spin out of there, and turned over that right ankle as he tried to spin out of the play.
And that was a double stack of pancakes.
Oh, with extra syrup. That's what we're talking about, though. You watch. We took a couple of looks at that play. Did you see where the line of scrimmage was reestablished by the Nebraska offensive line?
Right.
The line of scrimmage is being reestablished 4 or 5 yards downfield. Running back doesn't have to make a cut until he's already picked up 3 or 4 yards. That's big-time push up front.
You know, I just thought a guy that might be disappointed with this is Mike Stiggy, the forgotten man, the punter for Nebraska, who suited up last week against Utah State. Doesn't play. Suited up so far today. He hasn't been out there yet. There's a guy whose foot is getting rusty.
That's right. The only thing, he's a holder, so the only thing is his right index finger's getting some work and catching the snap from center. So his hands are getting the work, but, you know, he's on scholarship as a punter also, and he hasn't had to exercise that right leg and foot at all.
What a way to earn a letter.
Really?
What do you do? Well, I punt sometimes for Nebraska.
I hold a lot.
Pitch out. Was that a forward pitch or not? It looked from here like it was close. Calvin Jones got down the sideline in a hurry and went down to the 27.
Well, that was, you're right, Dave. That was real tight. Power I formation, motion to that side. Joseph realizes he's taken on the play his pitch man's available to him.
I don't know.
Must have gone totally. It certainly didn't go backwards. It must have been just totally laterally down the line of scrimmage.
He looked like he let it go around the 25, and he caught it at the 24. I don't know. Well, it's too close to call from here. But at any rate, they bring it back. It's 2nd and 10. They say that it was out of bounds. Now they're calling it what, a pass? They're calling it a forward pass, saying he was behind the line of scrimmage, and they're saying that he was out of bounds when he got the ball.
So they're calling it an incompletion?
An incomplete pass. And I'm not so sure he was behind the line of scrimmage either.
Yeah, I hear that.
All right, anyway, it's Nebraska 23-0. Back in Lincoln, Nebraska leading 23-0. The Cornhuskers, Mickey Joseph called for an incomplete pass. Now, remember, the line of scrimmage is around the 30.5-yard line. And let's see, was he beyond the line?
As he comes options down the line of scrimmage, he turns it upfield. Okay, remember, it's the 30.5-yard line. He crosses the 30 now. He's to the 29, 28-yard line before he pitches. The ball is caught. It is caught possibly out of bounds at about the 27.5, 28-yard line, but they missed that call, saying he wasn't over the line of scrimmage.
All right, there you see what Nebraska has done so far. Soto with the big day so far for the Huskers. And remember, Nebraska is not yet punt in leading 23-0. Jones bounces off one side, goes the other way, and is ripped down at the 20. But that's a first down for Nebraska.
Play should have been stopped about 4 yards back by defensive lineman Steve Norton. He makes a decent play. You think that the play is going to be stopped right there. It's just a mass of bodies. But once again, we talked about separating. Once you defeat a block, you have to separate it from it. Calvin Jones, it never was wrapped up by Steve Norton. He never separated from the block to make the tackle. So Calvin Jones says, I'm not going to go down with an arm tackle. I'll see you downfield.
Look at how many yards Nebraska has already put up on the ground. Remember, over 600 last week. And they're nearing 300. This happened. Jones is going in for a touchdown. Untouched. Calvin Jones, the redshirt freshman, with his 3rd touchdown run of the year.
Paul Gasser, defensive end, is over there complaining to the officials. I suppose he's probably saying that he was held, but got to the outside of the defense. Look at the push-up field. Tremendous blocking. Gasser's complaining right now that he's being held by Darrell Lisi, and he wasn't. All he was doing, he was pushed downfield. He not only hooked him, but he got him downfield 3 yards before he was hooked.
Byron Bennett for the point after, and the snap is too high. Now Bennett to throw. Throws it to Soto, but he'll be stopped shy of the goal line. Bennett was probably thinking a little bit about that Kansas State play where Kansas State scored 2 points on a would-be 2-point conversion last week.
Well, here's what happens when the snap is high and the kicker has to, right now he's yelling fire. The code word's fire, fire. So everybody knows that the ball is not going to be kicked and they get into their routes. He finds the fullback in the flat. The tight end was in the end zone, had to go short, and was stacked up by the defense.
And don't blame Stiggy. Remember, he's the guy sitting over there with cobwebs.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's take another look at that touchdown run by Calvin Jones.
Watch the right side of the offensive line. They not only hook people, they knock them off the line of scrimmage. That's an unbelievable block by a tight end working against a defensive end. Lisi made a tremendous block on Gasser. Not only hooked him, what I mean by hook is the offensive player ends up on the outside of the defensive player. He got him hooked, got his body to the outside, also knocked him 4 yards downfield while doing that.
5 minutes, 36 seconds to go in the second quarter. And Nebraska 29-0 now over Colorado State. Earl Bruce, no stranger to Memorial Stadium. He was a one-time coach of the Cyclones of Iowa State, and while he was there, he was two wins out of 6 games against the Cornhuskers. So Earl Bruce has the best record of probably any Iowa State coach. In fact, those 2 wins by Earl Bruce against the Cornhuskers, the only 2 wins by Iowa State in 30 years against Nebraska. But right now, Earl Bruce's Rams are definitely behind the 8 ball. Bennett will kick off, and Sims just corrals it in the end end zone, and again the Rams will start at the 20, and again the Huskers score quickly. About 3.5 minutes. They go 80 yards, 11 plays. Doesn't matter who's in at quarterback. They're all effective for Nebraska.
And this group of guys right here, the Rams sideline is very down right now, very disappointed. They didn't think they'd be down 29-0 at this point with still 5.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Orr-Pierce, who started his head coaching career at the University of Tampa, then at Iowa State, then 9 years at Ohio State, where many feel he really got shafted, then at Northern Iowa for only a year, and now at Colorado State. Anthony Hill takes it out of bounds after a pickup of about 9 on first down before Tyrone Bird forces him out.
Well, the Rams say we're just going to go to your playbook, Nebraska. We're going to run the option. And Hill, this kid has got the jackhammer feet. You know, you like to have a quarterback with quick feet to run that option, a guy that makes the defense commit right away. Make the defensive end take him and give him his pitch, his option. And this guy has got the feet to get that done. He is a good athlete.
Well, on 2nd and 1, here's a play that might be able to do something. Gives it to the fullback, Ivelo, and you see Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator for Nebraska, and he was saying around here sometimes if the opposition completes a pass, they want a whole new coaching staff.
Really, and this guy is one quality football coach, and the players really seem to respond. We spent some time with him yesterday, Dave, and see, as every player walked by Coach McBride, they all had, you know, something to say to him, a pat in the back or a humorous little anecdote. You know, he's a player's coach, and they play hard for him. And he's a great defensive coordinator.
First down after a pickup of 2 on the play. The ball up to the 31.5-yard line. Hill to throw, looking for the sidelines and picked off. Kenny Wilhite picks it off, and he's still got it. Falls down at the 25-yard line. Wilhite with his 2nd interception this year.
Ill-advised toss, obviously, by Hill, and he just did not put enough on the football. It looked like the ball slipped out of his hands a little bit as he released it, and it fluttered and just hung up in the air. It's not a pretty pass. Plenty of time for the DB, Kenny Wilhite, to make a reaction, a break on the football. And turnovers, once again, they're playing giveaway football, not takeaway. The Rams had to play takeaway football, and they're just saying, here, Nebraska, take it.
Orr-Pierce talking with his quarterback, Hill, saying, don't do that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the instruction. McCant back in at quarterback. Nate Turner has a run out of the wingback slot for Nebraska, and he goes all the way down to around the 12-yard line.
Well, Nebraska got a big old offensive tackle. Brian Bowerboom around the horn, clean as a whistle. He turned it back up inside, just a gaping hole. I mean, Bowerboom's 310 pounds. For him to get around the horn and get up into the secondary that easily, it was a gaper.
Turner goes 14 yards on that play, had a rush for 11 last week against Utah State. That play goes nowhere, though, for Robert Glantz.
He lost the ball.
Colorado State saying, we have the football. Looked like that ball did come loose.
Now right now it's a tug of war at the bottom of the pile. Who's got the strong hands, the strong wrists, strong forearms? Because they're ripping it around under there now.
Nebraska's now coming out of that pile saying, we have it. And they do.
It's not surprising since they've averaged about 300 pounds up front, and a lot of the offensive linemen got in the bottom of that pile pulling and tugging at it. I don't know. I thought he might have been down. I thought his knee was on the ground before that ball came free anyway.
As it is, a loss of 2, 2nd and 12, the ball on the 13. In motion is Turner. McCant goes the other way, wide open, but he skipped it in to Johnny Mitchell. Mitchell was wide open. And McCant saying to himself, now that's one we should have had for sure.
And this is just a little naked. Right now, watch, the whole play, everything goes to the left. They fake a running play to the left. The quarterback comes out unprotected, totally exposed, all on his own. Boy, that was touchdown city if McCann makes a decent throw. The defense bid on it totally, though. Nobody was there to contain McCann. And the reason they weren't is Nebraska is rushed for about 300 yards, and the defense is reacting to the running game. They can do all kinds of play action off of that running game once it's established to the point Nebraska is established.
Makes the passing easier, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
McCann straight back. Bostic. He won't have the first down. Ripped down at the 5-yard line by Kenya Ragsdale. McCann saying, let's go for it. Come on. We're having fun. We've got 29. Let's go for it, coach.
Now there's just a simple 5-step drop by McCann. They showed that they can do the play action. Now the 5-step drop and delivers it right between the 1 and the 8. Nice little play. McCann seems to throw the ball better out of the pocket for some reason than he does on the run, Dave. I think he's got to work a little bit on delivering that ball, getting his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and delivering the ball on the run.
7 of 12 today, and Huskers will go for it. 4th and 3 from the 4. McCann on the option. Touchdown! Keithan McCann wanted to go, talked the coaching staff into it, and then called his own number.
Boy, just an unbelievable block led McCann in the end zone by his wingback, Nate Turner. He just absolutely buries Jerry Dunn. Watch number 22 in the red. Turns upfield, boom. He knocks the whole pile. He took 2 on that block. He knocked 2 people into the end zone and made life easy for McCann to stroll in the park. Watch 22 in the red. He comes in and boom. Delivers a hit, knocks 2 defenders down. Dunn was the primary, and he knocked one of his other teammates down. That is a gold star on the forehead for your wingback.
That's like converting the 3-10 split, and Nebraska right now. Bennett trying to split the uprights. He does, and it's 36-0 Huskers. Keithan McCann. He's done the job offensively, congratulating his offensive line who have given him the time. Hell, everybody's done the job offensively for Nebraska. They lead 36-0 over Colorado State. I knew coming in that the Rams thought this was going to definitely be an uphill battle, but I'm not sure even Colorado State thought it would be this tough.
I don't think they did either, Dave, and really, I think we get a sincere reaction from the Nebraska coaching staff that we talked to yesterday. They had a lot of respect for the Colorado State Ram football team. I really don't think that they thought they'd have this kind of a lead with 3 minutes to go in the first half, 36 points, and it could be more if they had converted all their extra points.
Another quick drive for Nebraska. You just cannot turn the ball over to the Cornhuskers. They will make you pay.
Really, and not only turning the ball over, turning it over with Nebraska only having to go in their own territory. I mean, Colorado State's giving it up in their own territory. Nebraska only has to go 30, 40 yards for touchdowns. And when you're facing a high-powered offense that's running the ball right down your throat, the last thing you want to do is to give them a short distance to score.
McCann with 138 yards of total offense. He's run the ball 6 times for 53 yards and that touchdown. And he's 7 of 12 passing for 85 yards, including 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Bennett to kick off. Mark Holmes has it. Holmes looking for some room to run, and I think we might have a quarterback change for Colorado State. We do. Earl Bruce has seen enough of Anthony Hill, who threw that last interception, and Kevin Verdugo will come back in for CSU.
Well, you wonder now, is Coach Bruce going to abandon his game plan a little bit and fill the air with footballs? If that's the case, I think things could get a little bit nastier for Colorado State. I don't anticipate Coach Bruce doing that still in the first half of this football game. I don't think he's going to abandon that game plan. And right now, he's just going to try to stem this tidal wave a little bit.
Verdugo with a quick out. Finds Primus. Primus looking for some room to run and fumbles the football. Was he down? No, they say it's Nebraska ball. Matt Hillman falls on the pigskin. Everything's going right for the Huskers and everything's going wrong for the Rams.
Well, you see it's just a little pass out in the flat to Primus, and Bob Cox, his right guard, number 50, comes out trying to throw a block for him, gets a little bit of a piece, but stripped from the inside. Just a great play by Tyrone Bird. That's 2 that he's gotten by reaching in and just ripping at the football. He caused the first fumble that Colorado State had, and I think it was Copeland that he reached in and stripped the ball away from. This time strips away from the wide receiver Primus.
Well, Osborne wanted to change that turnover situation, and he has. He's also changed his quarterback. Mickey Joseph back in, and Derek Brown also in for the Huskers. And that's Brown in motion. Joseph. Mitchell had it in his hands and go out. Mitchell has become a prime target for Nebraska.
Mitchell is a horse. I think what happened here is Mitchell took his eyes off the football before he had total possession, trying to think to the next step. Where am I going to run after the catch? Watch as he takes his head away. See, he looks to his left, seeing where's the defense closing in on me. Instead of looking the ball in, he turned his head a little bit. Where am I going to make my cut? You have to catch the ball first.
Well, he might be unaccustomed to catching it outside the end zone.
That's true. That's true. That's
looking for that goal line.
That's foreign ground.
Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Nice play defensively by Paul Gasser, number 86. Got his 6'5" frame up in the air.
Now this is a source of frustration for offensive linemen. The reason this ball is deflected is because the pass protection is pretty decent, but you got to give Gasser a lot of credit. Read the quarterback's eyes and saw him start his delivery, hit that big right mucker up there and knocked it to the turf.
2:41 to go in the first half. 36-0 Nebraska. Brown fighting through the middle. Boy, for a guy only 5'9" by 185, his legs just keep churning, and he really has a lot of power.
He does. He's a talent. He's one of the members of the Nebraska roster that run better than a 4.5 40. They've got a handful of people, a couple of handfuls of guys that run 4.4, 4.5 40. So what Earl Bruce's concern was, he said, yeah, they're big. They're gonna outman us physically at the line of scrimmage, but I'm scared about their perimeter speed also. They have all kinds of speed at the receiver and running back position.
4th and 4, and Nebraska will go for it again. So far, they're 2 of 2 on 4th down today. And I don't think they're going to get it on this time. Joseph keeps it and gets down to around the 19. They needed to get to the 18, and that will do it for Nebraska's offense. That's one of the first times outside of that turnover that Colorado State has stopped the Cornhuskers.
Kevin Lynch made a shoestring tackle there on Joseph, or that may have been another first down conversion.
So Colorado State, with their eyes sort of on that locker room with 1:55 to go here in the first half, trailing 36-0. What do you expect them to do from here? You think they'll try to get some points on the board, or just try to play out this first half and get into the locker room?
I think cut your losses right here and get in that locker room.
And that looks like what they're trying to do. Copeland will run around the far side and pick up about 3 or 4 on first down. Darren Williams, a freshman, stops him there, a freshman linebacker for Nebraska. This is a game where the Huskers get to rest some of their starters, getting ready for Washington next week, and also a chance to get some playing time for some of their underclassmen.
And what the Colorado State coaching staff told the running backs and receivers, hold on to that football. The second and third man into the pile is stripping it, reaching in there and pulling it out. Don't let them do that. Hold on tight.
Copeland again.
There's some decent strength in those hands right there, controlling a running back that's got the physical strength and power of the Copeland. He wrapped up on that, got a couple of good handfuls of that jersey, and it certainly wasn't a tearaway jersey because Copeland was thrown to the ground.
Mercifully, the clock under 1 minute to go in the first half. Verdugo to throw. Huskers.
Well, the Huskers brought their strong safety, Steve Karmer, strong safety blitz. They brought about eight to the quarterback, and Karmer came through clean. And boy, Verdugo, he paid for it.
Verdugo thought it was bad when he was here with KU.
It cannot be advanced.
Can't be advanced. It's Nebraska's ball at the point of the recovery.
At the 6-yard line.
But boy, did Karmer deliver a hit. Now he's the one in the secondary that Coach Charlie McBride said, if there's somebody that'll lay the leather to you, it's Karmer. And boy, Verdugo found out about that. It was just drilled. Nice play, and they brought 8. The safeties, I mean, they brought them all. They figured, oh, they're going to go for it on 3rd down here. Let's take a chance, see if we can get another takeaway, and that's exactly what happened.
Verdugo 54-2 when he was with KU, and it's 36-0 with Colorado State, and it may get worse. George Echola now in at I-back for Nebraska. Mickey Joseph in at quarterback. Soto is the fullback. And the give is to Soto, and he walks in untouched. Soto with his 2nd touchdown of the day. And that one was easy.
Very easy. Great blocking up front. Just a straight dive. And you'll see Colorado State once again. Watch, they come off the line of scrimmage. Nobody can separate from the blocks to make a hit. The only one who lays a hand whatsoever is Kenya Ragsdale, the linebacker. He tried. He didn't close quick enough. All he did was lay a little finger on Soto.
Bennett to make it 43-0. He does. The Cornhuskers have had things their way. Soto with 2 touchdown runs, and Osborne can just kind of relax now with a 43-0 lead. That's the scoring drive on that. 1 play, 6 yards. Let's see how fast he runs 6 yards. You know, they always test him beyond the 40. 6 yards. It's got to be near a second, right? 43-0 Nebraska over Colorado State, and we're still in the first half. Prime Network is, as you know, the place to be for college football excitement. Be sure to tune in each week, and 1 week from tonight, it's live Pac-10 football action. The Golden Bears from Cal Berkeley will tackle the Arizona Wildcats. Live coverage begins at 10 Eastern, 9 Central here on Prime Network, so don't miss it. Well, Bennett is probably wishing that he were Stiggy right now, because Bennett is getting a workout on his right leg, while Stiggy, the punter, has yet to touch the ball with his foot.
That's true.
He has with his hand because he holds for the extra points. Turnovers have been a big story. Colorado State with 5 turnovers in this contest. 4 fumbles and an interception, and that one will go through the end zone. Colorado State will, I'm sure, fall on the football. They'll get it at the 20-yard line, and that's all they were trying to do the last time when Verdugo had the ball ripped from his arm.
Well, you know, games like this, coaches give you pep talks, Dave, and they say, hey, these guys put their pants on 1 leg at a time, just like you do. Unfortunately, I think Nebraska's legs are a little bit stronger, quicker, faster than the Colorado State legs have been so far in the first half. And what you do at halftime is you say, okay, forget the first half. Let's see if we can be more competitive in the second half.
And you've really got to feel for a guy like Verdugo. Here, when he's 75 years old and sitting there with his grandchildren on his knee, I doubt very much that he'll be telling them that his fond memories of Memorial Stadium in Lincoln.
Well, it has not been a place that has welcomed him with open arms.
Second down, 3.
Copeland picks up 7 on first down, and the clock ticking, and Colorado State doesn't even need to run another play. And that will do it for the first half. Nebraska impressive on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they ran well, they threw well. Defensively, they have shut the Rams down. Colorado State goes to their locker room looking for hope. Nebraska looking for a breather, leading 43-0. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. The Nebraska Cornhuskers have tacked 43 points on the board in the first half. The Rams have yet to score, and it's Nebraska 43-0 over Colorado State. And I know that you were witness to that 81-0 drubbing of Penn State over Cincinnati. This one look familiar?
Yes, in fact, at the half, Nebraska's whipping Colorado State a little bit more. At the half last week, it was 40-0 Penn State over UC, so Nebraska's 3 points better than that.
So it looks like a good start for Nebraska in 1991, and 1990 sure was an outstanding year for the Big A Conference. Produced some terrific games and some terrific individual performances, and it is those individuals who made 1990 a season to remember. The Big 8 Offensive Freshman of the Year award in 1990 went to 2 players. Nebraska tight end Johnny Mitchell caught 11 passes for 282 yards. And out of those 11 catches, 7 of them were for touchdowns. Oklahoma quarterback Cale Gundy threw for 904 yards and 4 touchdowns in 9 starts last season in a rushing attack that averaged 289 yards per game. The Defensive Freshman of the Year was Trev Alberts of Nebraska. Alberts' best performance came in his home state of Iowa against the Cyclones. He recorded 8 tackles, including 3 sacks for 27 yards. The Big 8 Offensive Newcomer of the Year was place kicker Jim Harper of Colorado. Harper hit all 41 PAT attempts and 14 of 22 field goals, scoring 83 points for the Buffaloes. The Defensive Newcomer of the Year was defensive back Darnell Walker of Oklahoma. Walker recorded 30 tackles, intercepted 2 passes, and broke up 4 more. The 1990 Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 8 Conference was Eric Bieniemy of Colorado. Bieniemy ran for 1,628 yards, finishing second in the Big 8 in rushing and first in all-purpose yards with over 1,800 yards. He also led the league with 17 touchdowns and 102 points scored and finished third in the 1990 Heisman Trophy balloting. The Defensive Player of the Year was Alfred Williams, also from Colorado. Williams played in all 12 games in 1990, recording 88 total tackles, including 12.5 sacks for 76 yards. He also was the 1990 Butkus Award winner. And the 1990 Big 8 Coach of the Year honor went to 2 coaches. Kansas State's Bill Snyder guided the Wildcats to a 5-1 home record, their best home field record since 1917. The 5 wins were also the most for Kansas State since their '82 campaign. The other recipient for Coach of the Year was Bill McCartney of Colorado. In his 9th season at CU, McCartney led the Buffaloes to their 2nd consecutive Big 8 title, an Orange Bowl victory over Notre Dame, and Colorado's first ever national championship in football.
As you look at that picture, Bill Snyder congratulating Bill McCartney. I mean, you think back, it wasn't so long ago, Dave, that Colorado was in the same boat that Kansas State has been in for so many years, and here they are with their first ever national championship in football, and you got to congratulate the coaching staff of the Buffaloes.
They had a fantastic year. They've had a great run. They've had one of the best teams in college football over the last 2 seasons, and they're everybody's pick to do it again in the Big 8 this year.
You know, each week here on our Big 8 telecast, we're going to pay tribute to the individual athletes and the outstanding performance that has earned them Player of the Week honors in the Big 8 Conference.
Big 8 Defensive Player of the Week honors went to Kansas State senior safety William Price. Price intercepted Indiana State's 2-point conversion attempt with 3:24 remaining in the game. He raced 102 yards to provide the Wildcats with the winning margin in a 26-25 victory.
20, he is at the 10, 5, 2 points for K-State. They take the lead, 26-25 on a 2-point run back of a 2-point conversion. Unbelievable.
Price sealed the win with another interception with 1:47 left as Indiana State was driving in Kansas State territory. The Big 8 Offensive Player of the Week was Kansas running back Tony Sands. The senior tailback racked up 174 yards on 19 attempts, breaking the Kansas record for career rushing attempts. Sands also scored a touchdown in the Jayhawks' 30-7 win over Toledo last Saturday.
Well, Nebraska making a strong run for both Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week honors this week as they lead Colorado State 43-0 at the half. And when we come back, we'll take a look back at the year 1990. All Nebraska here in Lincoln in our first game of our Big 8 package this year on Prime Network. The Cornhuskers leading the Rams of the WAC Conference 43-0. Nebraska, by the way, 8-0 versus the WAC Conference in each of the schools' histories. And Nebraska looks to make it 9-0 after today is done. You know, as we stated earlier, this is just the first of 11 telecasts that you'll see here on Prime Network's Big 8 Game of the Week. Our schedule continues next week with Minnesota at Colorado. Big 8 football here on Prime Network is guaranteed to bring you plenty of excitement this season, just as it did in 1990.
Goal is the block.
They can run it, and he falls down at the 20. Chaka Johnson fell down
the 20-yard line. He fell forward to the 17, but Kansas in great shape. Third and 8. Now the Minnesota crowd gets back into it for their defense. Williams in motion. Williams has got his man beat. He's got it at the 20, the 10. He goes out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Wow. Sean Moore finding a huge hole. Moore, touchdown. Play action pass. What a fake by Hillary. Hillary with all kinds of room to run, and he might go all the way. He does. Touchdown, Kansas.
Oklahoma have the power eye this time.
Rashid, right up the middle, touchdown. Rashid, his second touchdown of the day. There's another one to Mays. Going up the seam. Mays, touchdown. Wow. Fourth and goal from the 1. Johnson.
They're not signaling.
Touchdown!
Oh, touchdown! Wow!
The Missouri players are celebrating, but the official called it a touchdown.
And the crowd is all over the field. All over the field. It'll be interesting to see if they can clear this and kick the extra point.
Touchdown, Colorado. And the Buffaloes come back to beat the Missouri Tigers. Cowboys need 10 yards. Ford, 5 of 12 passing, but for only 13 yards total. Fourth down and 10. Across the middle, picked off. Andy Needham. Pitch back to Flowers. First down and more. Touchdown. Peterson looking long. Ball slightly tipped. Coming back and making the catch. Brandon Hughes. Hughes could be gone. Touchdown. Second down and 14 now. Joseph, quick pass, beautiful catch, and a touchdown to Johnny Mitchell. Hillary. End zone touchdown, Rob LaCourcie. Nearing the 2-minute mark of the first half. Gundy comes on the option. Hagan goes long distance. There's Pritchard. Touchdown! Colorado will go to the Orange Bowl, representing the Big 8 Conference. Welcome back to the campus of the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. The Cornhusker fans, even
The most critical of fans have to be thrilled with the development so far here today. The Nebraska Cornhuskers leading the Rams of Colorado State 43-0. And at the half, I'm joined by Dave Lapham. I'm Dave Armstrong, and this has been quite a show by Tom Osborne and the Huskers.
It really has. Everything that had to go right went right for Nebraska, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong for Colorado State. Murphy's Law for Colorado State. 5 giveaways by Colorado State. They were critical, and poor field position. Good field position for Nebraska. Real short drives. They rushed for over 300 yards again at the half. They're on track with 309 yards rushing at the half to supersede last week's effort of 617 yards rushing.
I think the stage was set when Omar Soto took the first play and went 36 yards.
I agree with you. The control of the line of scrimmage was established the very first play of the game, and that 60-pound differential that Nebraska enjoys up front became evident very, very early.
And Nebraska wanted to come into this game throwing the ball, and they have done that successfully, as evidenced by the touchdown pass from Keithan McCant to Johnny Mitchell.
What a specimen Johnny Mitchell is, a 260-pound sophomore. And he's got real soft hands, makes a very athletic play to take in McCant's nice toss right here. And here we got Jones taking it around the perimeter, and just great blocking. As you can see on the outside, it was not only sealed, giving him the outside, but they knocked him about 4 or 5 yards off the ball before they actually made their hook blocks. And here's a touchdown run by McCann on the option. Just a tremendous block. His wingback got 2 people on this play, knocked 2 into the end zone and on the ground, and McCann had an easy journey into the end zone.
Yeah, Nate Turner made a great play there offensively for Nebraska. Now Mickey Joseph at the helm.
This is Soto again, nothing more than just smash mouth football from 6 yards out. Not one Colorado State defender lays a finger on Soto until he gets into the end zone.
No, that was the last of the 5 rushing touchdowns for Nebraska in that first half, and you see how they have dominated on the stat page.
Oh, they really have, and it's 19 first downs to 3. You go into every category, and I think another area where Nebraska has dominated is time of possession, and that's one thing that Earl Bruce thought would be a key. Keep his offense on the field, keep Nebraska's off the field. It hasn't happened because of the turnovers.
Only 22 yards passing for Colorado State. I think the Rams thought they could throw the ball a little bit on this Husker defense, and they have not.
Right. The Rams' passing attack is play-action variety, and that's predicated normally on establishing your running game, and then the play-action pass becomes effective like it was for Nebraska. Unfortunately for the Rams, they never got their running game established to the point where they could do that play-action passing.
Briefly take us into both locker rooms.
Well, right now it's a feeling of exuberance in the Nebraska locker room. They've maintained the level of excellence that they had last week offensively against Utah State, have picked it up defensively. The Colorado State locker room, rather, it's a case where Earl Bruce is saying to his troops, guys, look, we get destroyed in the first half. Let's see if we can be more competitive in the second half and give these guys a little bit of a football game.
Well, it's been a humbling experience so far for the Rams. They'll try to develop something in the second half, and Nebraska will try not to doze off. Right now, the Huskers lead 43-0. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. I don't know how else to describe this, Mr. Lapham. It's just been an absolute demolishment of the Rams of Colorado State. Nebraska 43-0.
It really has, Dave. It's a case where Nebraska is operating on all 8 cylinders, and Colorado
if there were more
State
cylinders, they'd be operating on it.
That's right. If it's a Jaguar, what's that got, 16?
I don't know.
However many cylinders there are, the maximum number, they're pumping all of them.
That's right. Man, oh man, it has been some kind of story for Nebraska. And let's see if it continues in the second half. The ball goes off the kicking tee again. That and a couple of extra missed points by Bennett. They had one on a bad snap from center, and another one he just missed. That's probably been the only glitches that you can point to for the Cornhuskers today.
I agree with you. There was a missed opportunity for a touchdown. It wasn't executed. Threw the ball short, but it's been impressive.
Chauncey Sims has it near the goal line. Sims with a little bit of a hole, and he gets it up to the 29-yard line, where Colorado State will go on the attack with the senior Kevin Verdugo. Now coming in. He only attempted 3 passes, only 5 yards for Verdugo. And then he had that one that his receiver caught and then fumbled. Verdugo had a rough first half.
That's right. The nightmare continues here in Nebraska for Verdugo, as we've mentioned, his freshman year on the short end of a 56-2 score when he played for Kansas.
Left Kansas when Glenn Mason took over, thinking that KU would go to a more option-style offense. KU didn't, but Verdugo decided to go where he could throw the ball more. Travis Hill stops Brian Copeland after a pickup of about 5 or 6 on first down.
Knowing Earl Bruce, or having observed him for quite a few years up at Ohio State, I don't think he's going to get into a scenario where he's going to fire and fall back, throw the football every down. He's going to stick to his game plan and try to execute the offense that he felt would be successful coming into the football game.
Verdugo, his pass is completed to Greg Primus. Primus has been the only real story offensively for Colorado State today, and Verdugo getting up slowly.
Yes, he got his bell rung by Travis Hill, the big outside linebacker, number 93 in the red. Absolutely drilled him from the blind side. You'll see Verdugo, a little play action fake. This is called a naked bootleg. He comes out to his left all by himself, no personal protector. After he releases the football, Travis Hill gives him a kiss and makes sure that all his fillings are intact right now because he took a hit to the head.
Primus with the only receptions for Colorado State. He has 3 for 38 yards. First down, CSU inside Nebraska territory. Copeland has some room to run. Copeland darts out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Lorenzo Brinkley forced him out there. You see already Nebraska going to a lot of their second stringers to start the second half.
And that time somebody lost contain. Charlie McBride, defensive coordinator, is not going to be real thrilled with that effort. There was no run support. Defensive end lost contain, got hooked. There was no run support from the secondary and turned into a 7-yard pickup for Colorado State.
So the Rams starting to move the ball a little bit. They've got to move it a lot. Down 43-0. Copeland again. First down and more. Knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line by Brinkley. Brinkley playing behind Tyrone Bird, who's getting a rest.
Excuse me, Dave. Defensive lineman Kevin Ramekers almost had a play in the backfield. He was a little bit disgusted with himself that he didn't bring Copeland down for about a 2 or 3 yard loss. He broke free, but Copeland ran right through his effort, which was just an arm tackle. Really couldn't get a firm, hard shot on Copeland.
First and 10 from the 36 of Nebraska. Fake pitch. Verdugo has it. Play action. Wide open is his tight end Mark Smith across the middle. About 8 yards on first down. Inside the 30 down to the 28.
This is the exact same action that Verdugo took the hit from Travis Hill on. Little naked bootleg. Sets up. Throws the ball right over the middle. Tight end wide open. As you can see, Mike Petco blitz from his inside linebacker position, trying to put some late heat on Verdugo, but his vision was unimpaired downfield to his tight end.
Great play by White coming in, getting good penetration and stopping that run before it could get started. Copeland went nowhere.
Boy, if White doesn't make this play, Copeland would have gone a good little piece. There was a nice lane. There was a little counter play. They pulled the backside lineman. There was a nice lane there to run through, but White didn't. He wanted no part of that. He said, "I'm going to run that thing down from behind," which is exactly what he did when the lineman pulled in front of him.
White, one of those brainy kids, a pre-med student on the Phillips 66 academic honor roll. Third down and 1, and Ivlo gets the first down and more inside the 25, near the 20. You see they mark it at the 22. Petco really lit him up there, and Ivlo said, "Get me out of here." Ivlo, a transfer from Northwestern where he played linebacker.
Boy, both they were in the short yardage formation, both fullbacks. Romero and Ivlo wanted out of the football game. Ivlo's ribs are cracked right now. I mean, his ribs are hurting him a little bit. He took a real shot as he was stood up, and his lead back, Thomas Romero, oh boy, the second hit was delivered by the big stick in the secondary, Steve Karmer. He came in and just, those ribs were exposed, and he counted down to about number 5 and laid that helmet on the 5th rib.
Karmer was the one that stripped the ball away from Verdugo near the end of the first half.
Once again, Colorado State trying to get physical, and Nebraska saying, okay, if you want to play that kind of football, that's right up our alley. Karmer delivered a big hit.
You think of this Cornhusker defense, Dave, and It's a defense that lost 6 players, and they didn't just lose 6 players, but they lose 6 players to the NFL draft.
And the big thing is, 2 of those 6 players were the number 3 and number 4 pick in the entire draft. Pickens, the cornerback, going down to Atlanta. And, of course, Kroll going over to Denver, the 4th pick in the draft, number 3 and 4 pick in the entire National Football League draft, played on this defense last year.
1st and 10 from the 22. Copeland has it around the right side, picks up good yardage on 1st down, and Colorado State now doing what they thought they could do to start the game.
This is true. I think you have to give Earl Bruce some credit here, Dave. He's got his team coming out and giving effort. You know, you're down 43-0 at the half. The locker room has to be a solemn place to be. Obviously, the team's all responding to Earl Bruce's leadership.
McBride wants that shutout, doesn't he?
Oh, big time. He said that the thing that he feels his defense needs to establish some confidence after being riddled a little bit in the secondary last week. And shutout would do exactly that, get some confidence.
Verdugo in and out of the hands of Mark Smith, his tight end. That's incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 6. Well, the secondary has done a great job today, allowing only 38 yards total.
And a good move to move the quarterback a little bit, delivered the ball right on the money, just slippery fingers, couldn't hold on to that football. But I think it's a good idea to move Verdugo, not let him be exposed to those shots like he took the very first play of the second play of the drive.
Well, Utah State was most successful on a quick drop, 2 to 3 step drop, and then quick hits across the middle. Verdugo had to get rid of that one, and does, into the end zone. Touchdown! Greg Primus, his 2nd touchdown of the year, and Colorado State is on the board.
Interesting, Nebraska came with the strong safety blitz one more time, Steve Carmer. And as we recall, right at the end of the first half, Carmer stripped the ball from quarterback Verdugo that led to another touchdown for Nebraska, an eventual touchdown. This time, he gets rid of the football before Carmer can get there and take it out of his hands, and delivers on time for 6. So the safety blitz worked at the end of the first half. And in the second half here, Colorado State burned it for a touchdown. Obviously, it was discussed at the half.
Primus now with 4 catches for 56 yards. That one a touchdown for Colorado State, and on to tack on the extra point is Mike Brown, who is 8 of 8 so far this year, and now 8 of 8 now. He was 7 of 7 coming into this game. But Greg Primus, this is a guy that Earl Bruce says could play on Sunday. Primus gets the Rams on the board. 11:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. Nebraska 43-7. Colorado State gets on the board, and President Bush has taken time out of his busy schedule to congratulate Kevin Verdugo.
Kevin Verdugo's first touchdown against Nebraska, and here it is. He executes against the safety blitz. Watch number 31 in the red, Steve Carmer, come up inside to his left. That makes it man coverage. When you blitz the strong safety, it's man coverage everywhere else. Primus beats his man, and it's a touchdown. Beat Tyrone Bird and got on the board. That was Verdugo's first. He was shut out basically offensively as a freshman in Kansas. They only scored a safety. So that's the first time Verdugo's gotten on the board against the Nebraska defense.
Well, now when he's bouncing those grandchildren on his knee, he'll have something to talk about.
That's right.
He'll forget all the other stuff, but he'll remember the touchdown pass.
Exactly.
The kickoff by Ransow is short, and it's fielded at the 25-yard line. A fair catch.
That's right.
Tyrone Hughes decided not to run it back at all. Now Colorado State looking impressive coming onto that locker room. Whatever Earl Bruce told them worked. 10 plays, 71 yards. Verdugo on that 18-yard touchdown pass to Greg Primus. And McCant will start the second half for Nebraska. He started the first half and was impressive. You see his numbers. He threw that 1 interception in the end zone. Total offense outstanding for Keithan McCant. Eric Brown trying to go around the near side. It looked like he was down at the 25 and somehow squirmed ahead to the 28.
Now let's see if the Colorado State defense takes its cue from the offense. The offense came out a little bit more juiced up out of the locker room. If the defense can make it a 1-2-3 and out and get their offense right back out in the football field, maybe things will tighten up here a little bit.
2nd and 7 from the 28. McCann on the keeper. Still has it. And he goes out of bounds near midfield. They'll mark him out at the 46-yard line. Selwyn Jones forced him out there. McCann's making all the right reads right now.
He is. That was one of the things that the coaches were very impressed with, his ability to make the proper decisions. Dive wasn't there. He held onto the football. He has his pitchman in a good relationship. But he finds some emerald green to take advantage of on the turf, and he does for a first down.
McCann wants to throw, and he won't get a chance. Coming in to make the stop for Colorado State is Kenya Ragsdale. Quarterback sack for the Rams. And McCann loses 4.
Now this is a decision where McCann, if he doesn't have any place to go with the football, you have to throw it away. He had plenty of time to throw this ball away. There was nowhere to go with it. The thing Coach Osborne probably does not want him to do when you do that rollout is to take that loss. Throw it away and reload.
Ball back on the 42-yard line. Brown on the draw. Tripped up. Nice play defensively there by Chauncey Sims. Well, Brown was off to the races.
Nice little crease executed up in the offensive line. And, you have to give, when you rush for 300 yards in the first half, you're doing something right up front. And this time the Nebraska offensive line showed pass, and Colorado State took the bite a little bit, but the secondary came up and filled right away. I think, now notice Chauncey Sims at the cornerback making that play. Might be time for a little play action pass. The defensive backs getting nosy in that running game, almost like extra linebackers.
Brown again, he's over 100 yards now and more. Pulling Sylvester Mabry with him all the way down to the 31-yard line of Colorado State.
Well, this is just a great individual effort. Just in a little isolation. Lead block. Soto gets a nice block, pancakes the man, down on the ground goes the linebacker, and Brown's off to the races. Just a well-executed play. Chris Ducher was just knocked right to the ground by Soto, his lead back. You know, the old ISO, Put that fullback on the linebacker and let the tailback pick his spots. And boy, has Brown done it.
Over 100 yards again for Brown, 175 last week. McCann with all kinds of time, and wide open is Tyrone Hughes. Hughes down to the 15, and Dave, Hughes is a guy I think Nebraska's got to get the ball in his hands more often.
Like Colorado did with Pritchard, and we've got a defensive end that's down. Is that Gasser? Yeah, Gasser's down on the field. A little bit of an injury there. The medical staff will help him out. This is a case where you got so much pressure on Selwyn Jones. You got a guy with the speed of Hughes. Look where the ball starts in the left hash mark. Rolls it out 2/3 of the width of the field to work with. Hughes has all that area. Look at the area that he's got to work with. Selwyn Jones has to contend with about 45 yards of width of the field and all the speed that Tyrone Hughes has. And I agree with you, Dave. This is a guy that could be for Nebraska what Pritchard was for Colorado. Mm-hmm. Every time Pritchard touched the ball, it was to the tune of 20 yards. And you know, Hughes has got just remarkable talents.
Look at Earl Bruce. Yeah, I remember him at Ohio State when he always wore the derby, and he looked like one of the Blues brothers. Well, he's singing the blues right now. His team down 43-7.
Really is, and I guess he still will take that dapper mode every once in a while. It's, I guess, how the mood strikes him, and maybe he anticipated this type of football game as it's turned out. Wouldn't be the one to wear that would dress right for.
That's right. Tried it against Brigham Young last year, and that didn't work. Vincent Hawkins, the wingback, takes it down to the 5-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. Down inside the 5 to the 4. Sylvester Mabry and Chauncey Sims make the stop. But again, we talk about how Colorado State getting a lot of hits coming in that secondary.
And we get another defensive lineman down. Is that Norton? Looks like Norton.
It might be Kareem Ingram, the outstanding redshirt freshman.
Boy, they're
number 98. They're starting to drop quick, aren't they?
They are. The front 7 people are starting to take the brunt. And
are you more susceptible to injury when you get tired?
Absolutely. And we talked about the 60-pound differential between that offensive line and the front 7 for Colorado State. And it's to the point now where that starts to catch up with you. All those hits, those licks, those big bodies pushing on you. And I think in that case, though, I think when he fell, I think when he hit the turf, Ingram may have hurt himself more than from a direct blow. It looks like he's okay. He might have just kind of knocked the wind out of himself.
He is going to be some kind of player. Remember the name, Kareem Ingram. Number 98 in the white shirt.
It's just, I'll tell you, there's some determined running. Unbelievable. He picked up an extra 4 yards just on sheer determination.
First and goal from the 3.5. Brown dives over one would-be tackler and squirms down to about the 2-yard line. Rick Ward had good penetration for the Rams. It'll be second and goal. The ball at the 1-yard line.
Now here's where that 60-pound advantage per man to Nebraska really comes in handy when you're in a goal line short yardage situation.
Brown, touchdown. Dives over the top. Derek Brown with his second touchdown of the day.
What you try to do there in goal line defense is have your down lineman penetrate so the linebackers can stop that over the top move. Well, Colorado State is so outmanned physically from a size perspective that nobody can come up there to meet that leap by Brown, and he's in the end zone easily.
Tony Ulasic, number 75, tries to stop him, but it was no contest. So Byron Bennett comes on again. It's been a busy man for the Huskers today to try to make it a half century. He does. It's 50-7 in favor of Nebraska, but there's a flag on that one. Let's see who it's against. Derek Brown with a touchdown for Nebraska. It's offsides against Colorado State, so Nebraska will refuse that, I'm sure.
It'll be enforced on the kickoff, I believe. The extra point will be good, and they'll be penalized on the next kickoff.
So the Nebraska Cornhuskers take a 50-7 lead over the Rams of Colorado State. It's still 18 to go in the third quarter. Next week, don't forget, Colorado will be hosting Minnesota. Darian Hagan, a big question mark after that knee injury in the Orange Bowl. Well, he is back. Not only is he back, but Darian Hagan, Dave, is returning punts.
And returning them very effectively. I think he wants to show the NFL scouts that my knee is sound and I can still return kicks. And boy, is he doing a job of it.
Hagan went to McCartney and said, I have a better chance in the NFL returning punts. Will you let me do it? McCartney said, what are you doing? Trying to get me fired? And then I said, okay.
Really?
So Colorado next week against the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central. Check your local listings. It's the Big 8 game of the week next week on Prime. They have assessed that 5-yard penalty here on a kickoff. Bennett will be kicking off now from the 40 instead of the 35. Nebraska had the option to go ahead and take it on the 1.5-yard line, but they chose to let Bennett kick it through the end zone. And I'm so glad they've gotten rid of that dumb rule they had a few years ago where if you kicked it out of the end zone, it came back to the 30.
Yeah, that's a little bit silly. Why penalize a guy for having a cannon for a leg?
There's the scoring drive for Nebraska. Again, very efficient. 75 yards and only 9 plays. And Derek Brown with his second touchdown of the day. And it's 50-7 in favor of Nebraska. Verdugo still in a quarterback. He had a successful series the last time for the Rams. Let's see if they can keep that going. Copeland. Not much. A couple of yards up to the 22. Copeland's been the workhorse. 13 carries now for 59 yards.
Watch number 99 in the red, scraping. Nobody gets a hit on him. The defensive linemen do such a good job of consuming the offensive lineman. He just comes totally free, Petco, to make a hit on the running back before he even can get underway. Great job by his people up front to keep those big offensive linemen off him and let him pursue.
Leonis Brown gets a couple, but that's about it. He gets across the 25 up to the 27, picks up 5. Not a bad play. Mike Anderson on the stop for Nebraska. Gets it up to the 27-yard line, now 3rd and 3.
Leonis Brown is his brother was the great Charles White from USC. And Leonis Brown has got those quicks, boy. He's got that 4.4 speed and is a real effective running back. Earl Bruce is thrilled to have him.
And a true freshman. Verdugo. Hicks once, and that was a mistake. Steve Carmer, touchdown Nebraska. Wow! Verdugo maybe should have thrown it the first time and held it the second.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. The mistake was to pump fake and reload. Once he did that, all Carmer has to do is read his eyes. He's locked in on his receiver, pumps it. Carmer says, oh, I know where you're going with the ball. I'll play receiver. Cuts right in front of it. Poorly thrown ball because he was thrown off his back foot as the pressure was coming into his face. And he threw a flutter ball up there that Carmer said, thank you, I'll take this for 6.
Yet another turnover for the Rams. And yet another score for Nebraska. Now it's Tom Sealer. Bennett must have worn out. Sealer, the second string place kicker, comes in and tacks on the point after. 57-7 Nebraska. Wow. Well, things have gotten so out of hand, Nebraska leading by 50, that we've got a new kicker in for Nebraska. It's Tom Sealer, number 5. But he's not the only number 5 for Nebraska. Remember, the Cornhuskers suit up over 100 players, so now you've got Lorenzo Brinkley, also number 5.
Put an A on him, 5 and 5A.
And the officials know about it, and they've said, okay.
Last week, Penn State, the same thing happened to the Penn State UC game, and the officials made one of them leave the field.
Sealer kicks it through the end zone. He does just what Bennett does, and Gonzalez watches it. Earl Bruce looking at his charts now, trying to come up with something. It looked like there was a ray of hope for the Rams in this game. They took the opening drive of the second half and went in for a score, but Nebraska's countered with 2 more.
And the last one was the double dip ice cream cone for you defensively. It was a takeaway and a takeaway for a touchdown. Talk about short drives. Took the ball away and scored on the same play.
Leonis Brown is in at tailback. Kevin Verdugo still the quarterback. Verdugo on the keeper. He goes down near the 30. Verdugo went down fast. He saw the red shirts coming. He got out of the way.
Number 23.
Well, what do you know? Another sellout here in Nebraska. The 177th straight sellout. That dates back to the Kennedy administration in 62.
62. That's amazing. And they keep setting an NCAA record every home game here at Nebraska.
And put that in perspective. The Beatles hadn't yet crossed the ocean when they started that string.
That's right.
John Ivlo gets the first down. It was second and a couple of inches. Ivlo dives forward for 3 after the 33-yard line. David Noonan, whose brother Danny was a tremendous All-America here at Nebraska, now with the Cowboys. And Noonan, Danny Noonan, was inducted last night into the Cornhusker Hall of Fame.
Right, and one of those inductees was a former teammate of mine with the Cincinnati Bengals, Tony Davis, now on the Nebraska coaching staff. Tough Tony won last night, too.
Tough Tony, boy, he was tough.
Oh.
And so is Verdugo to take a hit like that from our man Noonan. Now you talk about him and they do something.
That's right, he was right on cue. And boy, Verdugo had no chance here. It was his blind side, and Noonan just defeated the one-on-one block up in the interior line, and it was case closed.
What do you know? Who is this guy? This is like the unknown punter. If he put a sack over his head, Stiggy, the punter for Nebraska. He has yet to put a foot on the ball this year. Mike Stiggy.
He's patrolling the sideline saying, hey guys, remember me? I'm number 47.
He's checking the manicure. Did you see that? Checking the manicure over there. That's all he's got to do. Primus with a catch over near the sideline. He gets it up to the 37.
Number 27.
That right there told the whole story. You've got the punter for Nebraska checking the manicure on the sideline.
Oh, Verdugo here taking advantage of a little running game that's been established here. A little fake belly into the line, and gives him a little opportunity to throw the football. And Earl Bruce, that's his style. He's not going to take a 5-7 step drop. Everything's off of play action pass.
3rd and 7. Across the middle, nice play. Verdugo finds Mark Holmes. And he has it inside Nebraska territory at the 48-yard line. Lorenzo Brinkley almost separated him from the ball. Brinkley, one of 2 number 5s in this game.
Brinkley's 5A. He's 5A for us. Boy, Brinkley found Holmes after Holmes found the ball. Watch this shot. This is a jacuzzi shot right here. Man, that's a hit. Holmes will be in that hot tub when they work their way back to Colorado State.
Primus has 5 catches, Holmes with 1, and Smith with 1. And Brown with nowhere to go. That's a loss of about 6. Jamie Lever stops him cold.
I'll tell you, he showed some determination here. Watch number 70 in the red, Jamie Lever. He's got contained, and he controls the running back, but he goes down. Running back says, oh, there's no place to go to the outside. I got to take it back inside. Brown says, well, oh, there's Lever again. Instead of staying on the ground in disgust, he was on the ground for about 0.2 seconds, jumped up and said, I got to get back into the fray. And eventually he was the principal stopper on Brown, the running back.
Clock rolling, nearing the 3-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Loss of 5, 2nd and 15. Verdugo scrambling. That goes off the hands of Brown and almost picked up by one of the offensive linemen.
That would have been a lineman's dream right there, to come up with a deflected pass for a completion. Pretty good hustle downfield by number 50 Cox. Verdugo is flushed out of the pocket, and he really never gets his feet set as he delivers the ball. That's a ball that Brown should catch, but Cox is right there, and he almost comes up with a shoestringer.
What do you do with it when you get it, though?
Assume the fetal position. Don't give it up.
3rd and 15. And a timeout taken by Verdugo. 3rd and 15. The ball on Colorado State 47. They need to get to the Nebraska 38-yard line. And be sure and tune in to Prime Network each week for the Big 8 Gridiron Report. Drew Goodman and Dave Logan will be your hosts, and they'll recap each weekend and preview the upcoming weekend in Big 8 football. It's an action-packed hour of gridiron happenings that you can see right here on Prime Network every Thursday at 4 Eastern, 3 o'clock Central, and again on Fridays at 9 Eastern and 8 o'clock Central. Drew will be joining us next week on the sidelines at Colorado as the Buffaloes take on the Gophers of Minnesota. Verdugo having some words with Earl Bruce. You know, Earl Bruce, you talk about what the job he has done at Colorado State, and it's hard to talk about that right now, being on the flip side of a 57-7 score. But in the 2 seasons prior to Earl Bruce at CSU, the Rams were 2-21. And last year they were 9-4 and win the Freedom Bowl.
And the first year that Earl Bruce made the scene, they were 5-5-1. I mean, turn the road to respectability immediately and then go to the Freedom Bowl. Hats off to Earl Bruce.
3rd and 15. Here comes the rush. Verdugo wants it all. And that one for Carmer, just waiting for it. At his own 15, Carmer has room to run. There's a flag back there. There was no Ram receiver near the play, and maybe there's going to be a interference call against the Huskers.
Kenny Wilhite may have been involved in some illegal contact downfield with one of the Colorado State receivers, but Verdugo was interrupted a little bit by Bruce Moore in the pass rush.
That is pass interference on the Huskers. Let's watch it again to see the guilty party.
Well, watch first of all number 90 in the red. He comes up and he gets an arm on Verdugo. He has to reload and throw the football. Now, as the ball's airborne, at this point in time, there's already been the flag, already been the illegal contact, the interference before Steve Karmer comes up with it.
Primus,
right
the intended receiver.
Watch number 19, Kenny Wilhite. He runs right up Primus's back as the ball's in the air. That's where the flag came from, taking the primary receiver right out of the play by pushing him from behind. So that's what the flag was all about.
And that's a big play for Colorado State because they get a first down on that, and it was 3rd and 15.
In the second period, Michigan 10.
2:59 to go in the third quarter. Huskers by 50, 57-7.
UCLA 16. Final score, Central Michigan 20.
Ball on the 38-yard line now for Colorado State and a first down.
Final score, Ohio State 23, Louisville 15.
Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Next week for the Huskers, it's Washington. The Huskers and the Huskies.
The Huskers and the Huskies, that's right. That should be one heck of a football game, too.
Tries to stay on his feet and goes down to the 20-yard line. Stopped there by Mike Hines.
This may be the longest rush of the day for the Colorado State. Watch the little trap by the guard. Does a nice job. Sets Ivelo off, and he makes a nice cutback. Touchdown-saving tackle executed right there by Hines, or Big Ivelo, the converted linebacker, who's doing a good job at fullback for Coach Earl Bruce, who would have been in the end zone.
That is the longest rush at 17. Verdugo pushes it back to Brown. Eludes a tackler. Nice move by Leonis Brown. Gets it down to the 14. Ernie Beeler stops him there.
I think it was Lorenzo Brinkley that missed the tackle on Brown, and Brinkley's got some kind of damage to that thumb. He's got a big club on that left hand. And watch Brown after he takes the pitch. Here comes Brinkley, and he doesn't wrap up. He's got that big club on that left arm, that thumb damage. He could not wrap up around Brown's middle and tackle him where he bends.
2nd down and 2. Getting inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line is Tom Romero for another first down for Colorado State. Well, the Rams are starting to move it on the black shirts right now. And a lot of these guys for Charlie McBride's Cornhuskers right now are 2nd and 3rd stringers, leading by 50 late in the third quarter. He's giving some of these guys some playing experience.
Which is obviously a good move at some point in time. They're going to have to do the job for you.
Ivelo pulls down to the 3-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from there.
Both of Colorado State's drives here in the second half, there's been a good mix of the run and the pass. The key to any offensive success, if you rely on your running game like Colorado State does, Nebraska did such a fine job of taking it away in the first half. Play action pass became non-existent. I mean, it wasn't respected whatsoever by the Nebraska linebackers. Now here in the second half, Colorado State established that running game is wide open.
This is Copeland. Stopped behind the line. Good hit in there by Darren Williams at the 5, and a flag on the play. Williams gets up limping. Holding call against the Rams.
I think this is going to be called on the tight end Mark Smith. Let's take a look at it. Just a little straight give. He's got the lead back. He's got Ivelo involved. I think Smith, the holding occurs before the initial contact, obviously. Downfield, there was a takedown. I believe they called it on Mark Smith, the tight end.
See if Nebraska takes the penalty. They do.
Holding on the offense. 2nd down.
I'll repeat, second down. Now it's second and goal back at the 15. That changes the complexion of things a lot. McBride told us that his secondary, once they get some experience and also get some positive feedback, and today they've made some good plays in the secondary, a couple of interceptions. It might give them a lot more confidence going into next week against Washington. Verdugo straight back. Wide open in the end zone. Primus, no one covered him. Someone missed him. Primus was absolutely wide open, and Verdugo found him.
Had to be Vernon Powell. I mean, he had to have a brain cramp out there. He was in the area, but he just absolutely let Primus go behind him, and all he did was take underneath coverage. There was no reason for it. There was nobody to cover underneath. Obviously, a blown coverage in the second. Look at number 16 in the red. There's nobody underneath. You just let the person get the receiver get behind him, Primus, and Vernon Powell, I'm sure, will be dressed down a little bit as he gets to the sideline. Coach McBride.
Powell obviously mixed up on his coverages, thought there was someone behind him to help out.
Right, or a safety coming from the middle of the field, but it was a disjointed effort there.
Mike Brown tacks on the point after, and the Rams with 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. They've played Nebraska even in the third stanza, but they still trail 57-14 with 35 seconds to go here in the third quarter. But you've got to feel like if you're Colorado State, you're starting to move the ball a little bit. Granted, it's a lot of second and third teamers for Nebraska, but you got to get a little bit more confidence heading into next week's game at Southern Mississippi.
Right, and we talked at the half. Said, what's going on in the Colorado State locker room? I'm sure Earl Bruce said to his team, look, we get blown out by 43 points. Let's see if we can make it a little bit more competitive in the second half. And as you say, even Stevens so far in the second half, a couple of touchdowns apiece.
Let's watch from the end zone to see how wide open Greg Primus was.
But absolutely no pressure. He's got plenty of opportunity, and obviously he's already seen Primus. Vernon Powell has locked up at about the 10-yard line, and Primus is in the end zone. Nobody is within 11 yards of Primus as he catches the football.
And that's the kind, if you're a quarterback, you're thinking, oh, please don't miss this guy.
Just like what happened early in the football game when Keith and McCant overthrew his receiver.
Dan Pleasant.
Dan Pleasant when he was so wide open downfield.
Well, you see the scoring drive for the Rams. They go 80 yards in 13 plays. They were helped by that one pass interference call by the Huskers. And they go into the end zone in 6 minutes and 19 seconds. Verdugo with a touchdown pass to Greg Primus, who catches his second touchdown of the year.
Boy, was that pass interference costly because it nullified a pick, nullified another turnover.
Peter Ransau to kick off. The kick is short. Comes down to Corey Dixon near the 20. Dixon goes up to the 33-yard line. That's where Nebraska will go on offense. And let's see the revolving quarterback door, see who comes out of that huddle. Well, it's going to be the third-string quarterback, Tom Hawes. Hawes, a senior out of Aurora, Nebraska, a former walk-on. Great story. Tom Hawes was sort of like a forgotten man at Nebraska. And all of a sudden, last year in the Citrus Bowl, he has to come on for Mike Grant, who was ineffective, and he goes 14 of 21 for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, this backup quarterback had a great line about his offensive line. He said, you know, when early lines that I had early in my career here, I had a hard time looking over them. Now they're like moving refrigerators, and I have a hard time looking around them. I mean, this line we've talked about all day long. 294 pounds average up front, and they can really move.
That's the end of the third quarter. They played that one even at 14 all, but the Huskers, leading 43 at the half, still lead by that many. Our score at the end of 3 quarters, Nebraska 57, Colorado State 14. The fourth quarter upcoming. Welcome back to the beautiful campus of the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. A nice day here, Chamber of Commerce type weather really after the rain passed through. Clouds are keeping the temperatures cool, and the story here has been pretty much Nebraska, although Colorado State has gotten on the board in the third quarter with a couple of touchdown passes from Verdugo to Primus. Brown with 121 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And Nebraska has really benefited by a lot of turnovers by the Rams, including that touchdown interception return by Steve Carmer of Nebraska. And right now the Huskers lead 57-14. With Dave Lapham, I'm Dave Armstrong. Glad to have you along. The Big 8 game of the week on Prime Network. Tom Hawes in at quarterback now for Nebraska, the 3rd quarterback the Huskers have used today. The give is to Jones, and he slips down at the 36. You know, you wonder if you're Tom Osborne now, who is your quarterback? Keithan McCant, very effective in a starting role, but Mickey Joseph also very effective coming off the bench.
And, you know, the danger with that, Dave, is you have, normally when you're alternating, shuffling in a couple of quarterbacks like that, players will choose sides. One may like one more than another and vice versa, and it can have a little bit of a split effect on a football team.
3 senior quarterbacks for Nebraska, and another one is redshirting, Mike Grant. Grant, who came in relief of Joseph, and there goes Hawes. Does he have enough speed to get out? He does, all the way down to the 29-yard line. Tom Hawes, a big run. Not known for his speed, more of a drop-back quarterback, but he turned on the burners there, and he burned Bob Stratman around the far side.
Watch number 7 in the red, fullback Andre McDuffie. Watch the block that he throws on the linebacker. Just a good block on Rick Ward, and that springs Hawes. Just a tremendous play. He had his fullback doing the job for him, and that's an unsung hero award right there. Haas gets all the notoriety, but it was sprung by that fullback.
Haas in a little bit of trouble. Looks for Andre McDuffie, and that one goes incomplete. It wouldn't have gone for much anyway, because there defensively was Matt Roud to stop anything from the Rams. So you see time of possession, and that's more Earl Bruce type numbers.
And Colorado State really has had the balance of it in the second half. They've run more plays. I think they probably have more yards offense they've got to with that kind of a time of possession differential.
Yeah, had 143 to 78.
The only thing that hurt them was the turnover. The interception was taken all the way back.
There goes McDuffie. McDuffie gets it inside the 20 down to around the 18-yard line. It's going to be just shy of a first down. Harlan Carroll stopped him there. A couple of injuries for the Rams they are going to have to think about as they get ready for Southern Miss next week. Paul Gasser has a hip injury. He's taken in for an x-ray. And Mike Pagel, the defensive tackle, sprained a right ankle in the first half. The x-ray was negative, but he is not going to return today. 3rd and 1. Big hole for Jones. He dives inside the 10 down to the 8.
Well, this is the second and maybe even some cases 3rd group of offensive linemen still coming off the football exceptionally well. This really blew out the football. Look at how the line of scrimmage is reestablished 3 yards downfield. I mean, that's a running back's delight. Calvin Jones does not have to make a cut until he's 6 yards downfield, 7 yards. His first cut is when he encounters somebody in the secondary, not the front 7.
1st and goal from the 8. Hawes is going to be hit behind the line somehow. Bounces around like a pinball. Stays on his feet to the 10.
He did. It looked like inherent pinball tendencies right there. He was going around, and he probably got up and he's saying tilt.
Even the line judge was smiling. A human pinball.
Watch this. I like this guy, though. I mean, he's given effort every play here. He cradles the football, wraps it up with 2 hands, runs into the center, and finally goes down. I mean, Haas, he says, hey, somebody's going to have to give me a hit. I'm not going to go down on my own, guys. You're going to have to knock me down.
2nd and goal now at the 10. Jones, straight through the middle. Runs into his center, Bill Ziegelbein, or he might have been in.
Absolutely. You're going to have to give an assist to Ziegelbein on that play. Boy, just tremendous blocking up front once again. Look at the takeoff. And look, Jones does not have to make a cut. Ziegelbein is going to get chewed on a little bit in the film. The worst thing, all you young offensive linemen that are watching, the worst thing you can do if you do slip to the next level to block a linebacker or a defensive back, don't stop. Continue to run and hit somebody. Don't stop in the hole.
Chris Duker, another injury, looks like, for the Rams.
Boy, you're going to have to get the fife and drums out now. I mean, they're going to be limping back to Colorado State. A lot of injuries, as you listed a few earlier, Dave. There's some that even aren't that severe that are going to make it tough. I think it's going to be tough for Earl Bruce to practice next week. They took a physical beating here as well as a beating on the scoreboard.
3rd and goal at the 2. Jones. This time the center gets out of the way, and Jones walks in for a touchdown. That's his 2nd of the day.
Boy, great block thrown by Dave Jensen. He just did a fantastic. Watch the left guard, number 69, roll off the ball. Double team, isolation block. I mean, boy, left guard and left tackle just rolled the defensive lineman 3 yards into the backfield. Watch them. They gave him a 25-cent ride there, boy. You buy a token and you find yourself 5 yards in the end zone. That's a great surge up front by the offensive line.
Tom Sealer. And there's Stiggy, our man Stiggy holding. All right, Stiggy does a good job there. Sealer puts it through. And it's 64-14. And 11:52 to go in the ball game. The Huskers have things going their way, leading 64-14. Nebraska leading by 50. Mike Stiggy, number 47, the punter, who's yet to punt this year. The question is he going to have to shower today?
He's a heck of a holder, though. He's getting that ball down real effectively, and yeah, he's making sure. Now he's making sure that he
working on that manicure.
No excess nail there for the next hold. You know, you got to make sure that you got any hangnails taken care of, and if you get a blister on that index finger, you got to chew that down a little bit, so you have no friction there between the ball. I mean, you know, he's just got to do a heck of a job holding because he hasn't punted this year, and he knows it. He says, "You're not going to hold, baby." Done that a lot today, though.
I hope he gets a workout in practice because so far in the game, no punts. 2 games, no punts. Nebraska went for it on 4th down a couple of times today and were successful. Billy Gonzalez takes it straight up the middle up to the 28-yard line. Verdugo stays in at quarterback for the Rams.
You know, it's
first down.
And it looks like John Ivlo, the starting fullback, is limping off now for Colorado State.
Boy, he's the one that took the shot in the rib, so he needs a spare rib, and now it looks like he's got a hitch in his get-along in the right ankle, so he's a candidate for no practice next week.
Now you see Nebraska, their scoring drive again. I don't think any scoring drive today has been over 4 minutes.
Oh, really? That's true. Ooh.
Verdugo goes down like a sack of potatoes. Donta Jones got him. 3rd string, the linebacker on the right side, came in almost untouched.
And working against a running back, a fullback, Thomas Romero, and just overpowers him. He's already deposited Romero, thrown him aside, and next thing, after he deposits the fullback, he says, only thing left to deposit is the quarterback, and I'm going to do that.
Verdugo with a helmet off. You better get that back on, buddy, before you get behind center. You know, Verdugo is having a day where he's had some success. He's got those 2 touchdowns, but he's also thrown the 1 interception. 7 of 12. Started off slowly. He's picked things up, though, in the second half. Verdugo's played well for Colorado State in the second half and wants to talk things over with Earl Bruce. With 11:04 left to go in the ball game, the Huskers leading by 50, trying to put the wraps on their 2nd win of the year. That's a look at number 9, Jerry Dunn, the 3rd string quarterback for Colorado State. He was warming up just a moment ago over on the sideline. He might be getting the word that you may be getting some playing time here today against Nebraska, and I'm not sure if Dunn's excited about that or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. All Nebraska's doing right now defensively is pinning their ears back in the huddle and saying, what do you say we meet at the quarterback? If Verdugo's done, Dunn will be in.
That's not redundant, what you just said.
Right.
Verdugo to a wide open Primus. I'll tell you, Primus is a player. Primus now today with 7 catches. Primus with 2 touchdown receptions, 7 receptions overall. and now with 103 yards receiving.
And the ball's right on the money. Nice pattern run. And you're right. Here's a guy there's no quit in him. 7 catches today for over 100. Last week he had 8 for 125. This is the 4th time in his career he's gone over 100 yards receiving, and he's playing as hard as he did on the first snap of the game.
The draw play goes into Jeremy Burkett. Burkett, a freshman out of Florida, runs straight forward for about 4 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 6. Doug Coleman on the stop.
By 37.
That's the thing when you have guys like Primus. If they don't play at the next level, the thing about a game like this, you're down by 50 points, still working hard. Any chief executive officers of any company that's watching this game, hire a guy like Primus. You know, I mean, the guy's not easily demoralized. I mean, he fights even when the odds are against him. Those are the guys you like to have in your company.
The give to the fullback Romero. He dives forward for just a couple, and that's going to bring up 3rd and a short 4.
I can tell you, I haven't been on the short end of a score that I can remember by 50 points, but I've been down by in the 30s before, and been on the winning side of games in the 30s, 40s, and we've even won a game a couple times by 50 points or more. And it's a lot more pleasant on that W end of it. When you're on the short end of a 40-point, 50-point deficit, it is tough to play.
3rd and 4. Verdugo wants to throw, getting pressure from behind. Gets rid of it. And a beautiful catch, but out of bounds is Billy Gonzalez, and a flag thrown upfield.
Pass intended for.
Could be a hold against the Rams.
Penalty flag on the play.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Well, that one took a long time to develop.
I think it might have been Pat Meyer. Number 71 might have been the offensive lineman that was downfield. And here's the pass rush on Verdugo. He doesn't have any place to go with the football. Really good coverage in the secondary, which is a plus. Best pass rusher on the team is Bruce Moore, number 90. Compliment that time by Jamie Lear.
That penalty is refused, by the way, the ineligible receiver, which brings up a 4th down and 5, and the punting unit comes out for the Rams.
You know, expanding on that thought about not quitting when you're behind, coaches know that anybody can play well with a lead of 30, 40, 50 points. The guys you like to build your program around are the ones that are going 100% for you when you're down in a game like this. Then you build around them.
Hughes back, leading the nation in punt returns. Hughes already with a 41-yard average in punt returns this year, but this one goes to Corey Dixon. And Dixon has room. Might have a clipping call against Nebraska. Flag thrown back around the 15-yard line.
Penalty flag on the play.
Usually when a flag is thrown in that area, it's a clip or some kind of a hold on the part of the return team.
Number 4, Snyder. Number 11, Sims.
And it's a clip against Nebraska. So while they set up where the Cornhuskers will start their drive, we'll step aside with 9:14 to go in the ball game. The Huskers leading by 50 after leading by 43 at the half at 64-14. Nebraska by 50, and right now if you're Tom Osborne, you're saying to yourself, there's got to be something in here I can talk to my team about, something I can chew them about, because, you know, coaches just can't go in and everything's positive, everything's wonderful, right? You got to have something you can go into that locker room and say, all right, guys, we need to improve on this. And there it is, penalties.
That's it. That's about the only thing that's been a little bit costly to Nebraska. Here's a good case of it. Good field position turns into miserable field position because of a clip on the special teams, but yeah, Coach Osborne, he's going to have to do some digging to find negatives to talk about this performance.
1st and 10 for the Huskers back at their own 8-yard line. And Mickey Joseph is back in at quarterback. Joseph to run. And to run. And to run. Up to the 25 and out of bounds. And unfortunately, that stops the clock with 9:06 to go.
Boy, he had Chauncey Sims. He just had Chauncey Sims playing him like a fiddle. Watch as Joseph comes out. Watch number 11 in the white. He makes a good reaction to Joseph, but right away he says, is he going to pitch? Is he going to hold? Is he going to pitch? Oh, what's he going to do? Oh, he's going to run with the ball, and by then he's just turned him completely around. He had Chauncey Sims on the island.
1st and 10 from the 25. Joseph wants to throw. Pass is caught. Dan Pleasant, the man who was wide open for a would-be touchdown, catches that slant pattern up to the 43-yard line.
Boy, what Pleasant did so well there, as soon as he got both feet down on the ground after going airborne, he got north and south. He got right upfield. Little play-action fake off of that power eye option formation. Watch Pleasant, gets his feet down, boom, splits the defenders. He's north and south. He's not going to go east and west anymore. As soon as he got his feet down, he picked up an extra 5.
1st and 10 from the 43. On the option. Here comes Achola.
High.
There goes Achola. Ripped out at the 5. Selwyn Jones saved a touchdown.
Whew. Man.
And you know who was there to give Mickey Joseph the high 5? Keithan McCant. His competition at quarterback.
That's great. Watch the hit that Joseph takes. He gets drilled by the defensive end, and now it's track time. We're talking Sprint City. And here's another guy, Achola, who has tremendous jets. But now Selwyn Jones is a guy who Earl Bruce says pro scouts come onto his practice field and say he's got a chance to play on Sundays. He'll get a look. He'll be evaluated. Good wheels.
Now Tom Haas in at quarterback on 1st and goal from the 5. Takes it down to the goal line, but they're not signaling touchdown. They're going to rule it down just outside the goal line. Man, Osborne's changed quarterbacks more often than most people change clothes.
Really hope they don't get caught in the revolving door here. Almost a little bit of an exchange problem. Haas does a nice job recovering. Look at that hole. I think I could get my wide butt through that hole. That had to be 10 yards wide. I mean, you roll into that thing with a Jeep.
Now you're getting carried away.
Yeah, that's true.
2nd and goal from the inch line. Haas, touchdown. There's a penalty flag thrown in the end zone. Let's see what that's about.
Is there 12 men on the field? Hey, somebody might have too many men out there. Let me count heads. Say, Nebraska has too many men out in the field? 3, 5, 7.
Another penalty for Osborne to talk about.
We have a touchdown, illegal participation, 12 men on the field, on the defense.
Oh, CSU.
Down to be a 15-yard penalty.
Well, Chuck Heater saying, what do you mean we had 12 out there?
Chuck Heater, who is a great...
And we didn't stop him. We had 12, and we still didn't stop him.
That's a good point. They still had the beef up front in the middle to crease the defense a little bit. Chuck Heater was a great running back at Michigan in his playing days.
Oh, he sure was. In the early 70s for the Wolverines.
Now he's now defensive coordinator for Colorado State University.
How about that? A Buckeye and a Wolverine hooking up.
Yeah.
So Tom Sealer to tack on another extra point here. And he does. And it's 70. I can almost not say it. It's 71-14.
And the 15-yard penalty will be put on this kickoff.
So when we come back, Nebraska will kick it through the end zone. There's our man Stiggy, Mike Stiggy, the punter for Nebraska, who's yet to punt this year, but this is the 11th time he's handled the ball today. So he's getting quite a workout.
He is. He's got good hands, doing a good job. Saying, any way I can help, more you can do. You know, last week when he didn't punt, it was only the 5th time since 1946 in Nebraska went through a game without punting. And,
players are already up in the crowd talking to their friends.
It's going to happen again, 2 times in a row, no punts.
And this one, kicking off from the 50, there's no chance here for Colorado State to do anything. So they'll take it at the 20. Cornhuskers go on defense with just under 8 minutes to go in the ball game, leading 71-14. And there you see the story.
Jeez.
Again, over 600 yards offense for Nebraska in their first game. They had over almost 800 yards total offense.
Bad day rushing. They had 617 last week. They only have 509 today. That's an off day. That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
Wait a minute. Don't write it off yet about the 600. We've still got 8 minutes to go.
That's true. We could close in on that 600 mark.
Verdugo still in a quarterback. Brown with it. He'll gain a couple for the Rams. Doug Coleman makes the stop for Nebraska. Up to the 22. It's 2nd and 8. And Earl Bruce said before this game, I don't want to go there, and I think he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, I think really Earl Bruce is a very fine football coach, and watching tapes of Nebraska, I think he knew he was going to have a tiger by the tail here in Lincoln.
Verdugo unloads it for his tight end Mark Smith. A good pass, but off the hands of Smith and incomplete. And Verdugo really took a shot, getting up slowly, and a flag comes in. Might be a personal foul call against Nebraska.
Yeah, I think they're going to call Nebraska for roughing the quarterback. Verdugo took a big pop.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, 15 yards, first down.
Listen to this crowd.
They want blood.
It's unbelievable. You're up 71-14 and you're booing calls with 7 minutes to go. And there's still a lot of the 76,000 that came here on hand. I would say there's still probably 65,000 in Lincoln.
Verdugo's out and Hill's in, and Verdugo's limping off the field. I think the other thing that Earl Bruce realized is he's going to get beaten up physically in this game. That's what's happened. You don't want it to wreck the rest of your season, lose guys for periods of time.
Hill just has to fall on it. Bad exchange from center. He hangs on to it, but loses a couple of yards back to the 36.
And as you said earlier, Dave, this isn't Earl Bruce's decision. This game was scheduled long before he became involved at Colorado State. But what good does it do to come and play a team like Nebraska and maybe have Verdugo be beaten up and physically impaired a little bit for the next couple of weeks, where it could hurt the ultimate outcome of those football games? It has kind of a snowball effect on the rest of your season when you play a game that's physically strong.
Romero, the fullback, rolls forward across the 40 to the 42. Clock moving, under 6.5 minutes to go. Excuse me, that's Steve Hodge, number 46, not 45. Hodge with his first carry of the game.
37, Dr. Coleman in on the tackle. 3rd down, 7. The ball is on the 40.
And it's the case, too, where Tom Osborne's not the type of coach to run up a score. He's played a lot of people. What are you going to tell your second and third team players to go in there and not try?
Right.
They're in there trying to move up in the depth chart.
You can only do so much. Hill takes a hit at the 45. Still some good hitting going on out there.
Tackle man by number 45.
Zeke Cisco makes the hit.
Cisco kid.
In the 4th quarter, Baylor 16, Colorado 14.
4th and 3. And Colorado State says, let's go for it. On the option. Well, he got enough for the first down, did Hill. Coming up making the hit is Jamie Wires, but it's a first down for Colorado State. And you hear the crowd reaction. A final today from Boulder, and a shocker. Baylor defeats Colorado 16-14. Don't forget, next week we'll be in Boulder, and the Buffs are going to be red hot, taking on the Gophers of Minnesota. Colorado, the defending national champions, lose a game. Their home winning streak is broken. So we're going to be heading to the Rockies in a very upset Buffalo team as they'll try to regroup against the Gophers next week. And don't forget, you can watch it right here on Prime at 1:30 in the morning Eastern, 12:30 at night Central, right here on Prime Network, the Big 8 game of the week. And down on the field for the Rams, Anthony Hill, the quarterback. He took quite a pop.
You know, about that Colorado-Baylor game, looks like Colorado, they basically had to rebuild their offensive line. Jay Lewinberg's the only returning player with a whole lot of experience. Baylor with a very salty defense. And 16-14 score was just the type of football game I'm sure that Baylor wanted to play going into Colorado. Let the defense win the football game for them. It sounds like that's ultimately what happened.
Well, a big upset already today. Not a huge upset. Baylor, a highly respected team, but an upset nonetheless when you have a team like Colorado to lose on their own home turf. Hill walking off under his own power, and that's a good sign. Colorado had won 15 in a row. That was the longest home winning streak alive in the NCAA. The give is to Brown. Verdugo is back in at quarterback, and Brown bulls ahead for about 3. Doug Coleman stops him there. Under 5 minutes to go in this one. It's been all Nebraska. The Huskers took a 43-0 lead at the end of the first half, and they haven't looked back. Huskers led 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. First play from the line of scrimmage for Nebraska, Omar Soto went 36 yards, and that pretty much told the story of the way it was going to be.
You know, also when I think about Colorado, Dave, no Pritchard, no Bieniemy. I mean, they lost a lot of weapons offensively to that football team.
No Williams.
No Williams, no McGee.
No Canavis McGee. They did lose a lot. There's a fumble. Nebraska will have it. Ball picked up for Nebraska by Dwayne Wiles, number 81. When guys make plays that don't have names on their jerseys, you know they've played a lot of people.
It really a pretty good effort, and the ultimate hit that stripped the football was made by Shane Geekin. And I think that's either the 7th or 8th turnover for Colorado State. I think they were up to 6 anyway. Might be their 7th, maybe possibly their 8th of the day.
4:15 to go. Nebraska will try to keep it on the ground. And a flag comes in. That'll stop the clock.
Well, we said it before, when you play a team the quality in Nebraska, you certainly can't give the football up 7 times and expect to win. Back they go for holding.
99, Curry on the tackle.
Holding call against Nebraska. They'll back it up. Back all the way to the 40-yard line. It'll bring up first down and 20. First and 16, excuse me, from the point. Tough to pick a player of the game in this one for Nebraska.
There were a lot of them. A ton.
Quarterbacks all played well, all 3 of them. Running backs played well. Oz with a nice, that's a tough pass. Running off to your left and throwing back to the right. And Mark Dowse catches it.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% there, Dave, and particularly rolling to his left. Watch how number 15, Haas, squares his shoulder pads up to line. Look at how square his shoulder pads up as he delivers that football. It gives him the ability to follow through across his body. That's the problem that was exhibited a little bit earlier in the game by McCant, rolling out to his right, not getting his shoulder pads squared up.
The fumble. Hawes trying to get it back. Let's see. Colorado State saying they have it, and so does the official. So the Rams will get it back. Brandon Ward falls on the football. And that's one of the few things that has gone right for Colorado State in a long time.
Just a center quarterback exchange problem. And it looked like Haas may have been pulling out there a little bit early. It looked like it did kind of split his hands and pop straight up. I don't know if Haas was expecting. I mean, it might have been a case where the quarterback almost forgot the snap count. It looked like he wasn't ready to accept the football when it was drilled up there by the center.
Jerry Dunn now in at quarterback for Colorado State. We've seen a lot of players in this game. Dunn, a junior out of Denver. give is to Burkett, a freshman out of Lakewood, and Verdugo. He's had enough for today.
Yeah, he will not have very pleasant memories of Lincoln, Nebraska. Things have not gone well.
He had a couple of touchdown passes today, but threw an interception. And you see Jerry Dunn, the junior quarterback, coming in now to replace Verdugo.
You know, when you think back to the beginning of the football game, we talked about the size advantage and the speed advantage that Nebraska enjoyed. I guess really, how can you expect much else?
Boy, next week's going to be fun to go to Boulder, isn't it, after that loss today to Baylor? Pass completed to Billy Gonzalez. He is run out of bounds by Vernon Powell.
Got to have a lot of respect for young Jerry Dunn. He threw that football with defensive lineman Bruce Moore draped all over him. And Bruce Moore is a big boy, 6'6", number 90 in the red, breaks free. And as Dunn releases that football, he's all over him. And gets a nice positive gain out of it, finds his flanker Mark Holmes over the middle. Good courage by the quarterback hanging in the last minute.
Steve Hodge goes through the middle for about 4. Gets it down to the 35-yard line. A pickup of just 2, actually. 2nd and 8. The clock nearing the 2-minute mark left in this game. 71-14 Nebraska.
Yesterday in our conversations with the defensive coaches, they named Bruce Moore, number 90 in the red, as the best pass rusher Nebraska has, 6'6", 240 pounds.
Dunn hit hard by Billy Wade, who was listed as a backup tight end. You see Mickey Joseph, he's done for the day, obviously.
Unstrap those rib pads. So
you wonder if you're Mickey, you're wondering, well, I had a good day. Will I get a chance to start again? But, you know, his counterpart, Keithan McCann, also had an excellent day. I think it presents, well, a nice problem, but a small problem for Osborne.
I agree.
Dunn on the pitch out. Brown goes out of bounds, hit hard by Vernon Powell. Stops the clock with 1:16 to go. Ball at the 22-yard line. That'll move the chains.
You know, the obvious positive at the quarterback situation is, as soon as one falters, the other one's there. They don't lose a whole lot, but you don't want your quarterback looking over his shoulder, saying, "Oh boy, when's the hook coming?"
Put yourself in Brown's shoulder pads right now. Oh.
Yeah, it's a contact game.
1:16 to go. That's Tom Romero. And he goes down to the 15-yard line before Jamie Wires can wrap him up.
Nice block executed by offensive tackle Al Tompkins on linebacker Shane Geekin as he pulled on that counter play and sprung a nice little opening for the running back to take advantage of. Good execution up front.
Clock rolling under a minute. 45 seconds to go. Dunn to throw with time. Picked off. Uh-oh. Jamie Wires, who just made the last stop with a pickoff. Dunn, one of the last guys to stop him right at midfield. Another turnover for the Rams.
That's number 8. 8 giveaways. And as we said, you just cannot stay competitive with a team as good as Nebraska.
Wires looked like he might have hurt a knee. He's holding his left knee.
Here's another look at it. Dunn, the ball just hangs up in the air too long. Did not put this on enough of a rope. Just laid it up there. And Jamie Wires was not fooled at all. He was just reading Dunn's eyes, locked in on that receiver as a good free safety will, like a center fielder, steps in front and takes off of the sideline. Let's see if we can see where he wrenched that knee. It looked like the injury came before the collision. Looked like when he planted to make his cut, he either messed up that ankle or knee.
And another new quarterback for Nebraska, the 4th one today. This is Curtis Cotton, is it?
No,
it can't be. He's a cornerback. To be honest, folks, I have no idea who this number 9 is. Well, they've gone that deep for Nebraska today.
They've played them all.
This is a second number 9. And it looks like John McMillan. I'm getting the word now from the press box. John McMillan.
Now 16's in.
And now we've got Joel Cornwell. He's earning a letter. Come on down. You're the next contestant, and the Cornhuskers' Price is Right. That'll do it.
Mercy.
Mercy is right. Mercy. Osborne with career victory number 179.
Moves ahead of my old coach at Syracuse University. Was tied with Ben Schwartzwalder. And now Tom Osborne moves into tie for number 22, and Ben's got number 23 all by himself.
Next week's the big week for Nebraska. Everybody said last year the Cornhuskers didn't play anybody in their non-conference schedule. Well, next week they do. They take on the Huskies of Washington, the Huskers and the Huskies next week in Lincoln. The Nebraska Cornhuskers all over the Rams of Colorado State. 9-0 versus the WAC Conference. It's Nebraska 71, Colorado State 14. Nebraska 71-14 over Colorado State. Well, I have the chance. I want to thank our stats man, Buster Griffin, today, our associate director, Melissa Copper, our director, Mike Diamond, who did an outstanding job in our truck today, our spotters, Jack Miller and Mark Davis. To all these gentlemen, I say, and ladies, I say thank you very much for all your help in making today's broadcast possible on Prime Network. Nebraska put on a show, Dave.
They really did. They put on a show every facet of the game. They won the battle offensively, defensively, and special teams, and the score indicates it.
As I mentioned before, tough to pick a player of the game for Nebraska. They had so many outstanding stars on both sides of the ball, but we're going to go with Derek Brown. You really can't go wrong. Derek Brown with 2 touchdowns today, and also he ran for 120 yards. He's now got 295 yards rushing on the year, and a couple of touchdowns. 15 rushes today, 121 yards, and here is one of those 2 touchdowns.
And just the isolation play. Look at the block by his fullback, Soto, number 25 in the red, and Brown says, I'll go up and over. Take it in, thank you.
Jones had a couple of touchdowns. That's Calvin Jones for Nebraska. And Omar Soto also had a couple of touchdown scores. We'll be back to put the final wraps on this one. An easy win for the Huskers, 71-14. Is lopsided, and they are.
Yeah, there was a big size advantages. We spoke all day long for the Cornhuskers up front in the offensive line against the Rams defensive line, and look at the differential in the yards rushing. Unbelievable. The other thing that jumps out at you is the turnovers. Colorado State gave the football up 8 times to a number 13 ranked in the country Nebraska team that took advantage of almost every one of them. And as a result of the turnovers and the yard differential in rushing, it had to be time of possession had to be extreme in Nebraska's favor. And the only thing that Tom Osborne's got a gripe about with his football team is they gave away a football field in penalties. 104 yards on 9 penalties. When you play quality opponents like they will next week, the Washington Huskies, you cannot hurt yourself with penalties.
Well, speaking of next week, our game next week will be in Boulder as the Buffaloes try to regroup after a tough loss to Baylor today. Colorado taking on the Gophers of Minnesota next week here on Prime, our Big 8 game of the week at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central. Check your local listings for the time that the game will be seen in your area. Once again, our final score here from Lincoln. The Nebraska Cornhuskers defeat the Rams of Colorado State 71-14. For Dave Lapham, I'm Dave Armstrong saying we'll see you next week in Boulder.